All right, shh, be quiet, be quiet. Hold on, be quiet.
No, you're referring to section 230, yeah.
Shh, be quiet.
Get you poisoned. And there's nothing we can do about it.
Here, go in your room and see if it's clear.
You go to the social media company and ask them to take it down, they refuse. You have like zero rights. How many images of sexually exploited children are purveyed every year on social media sites? The number is astronomical. And Senator, if I can just add one step to that analysis, please. It's not just what's on social media that is quote unquote real. It's the introduction of artificial intelligence and generative AI that is creating even more child sexually abused material and even more sexually violent acts online and mimicking people. Would you say that the way social media is structured today, really no accountability, 36 million images in 2023 of sexually exploited children, that this is a public health hazard? It is. Would you say that it's a mental health problem, particularly for
Guys, as you could tell, Graham is a friend of Cash. That's why he's giving him these softball questions. But there were some other guys on the committee that don't like Cash.
to be addictive? Unfortunately, the reality is some of these sites are designed to generate income, and many people are generating income based on this illegal trade. Do you think it's now time for America to deal with this problem? I'm all in. I have been all in, and I'm happy to work with Congress to do so. Well, I tell you what, having the FBI director all in is great news for me, and I hope the committee will respond and that we'll be all in, trying to fix a problem that I think is doing a lot of damage to our country. When it comes to John Bolton, was there new evidence involved in the raid on his home? Sir, that investigation is very much ongoing. As you know, there was a raid of his house pursuant to a legal search. Was there a warrant? Absolutely, sir. Okay. All right. We're looking to have that search warrant unsealed at the appropriate time. I think that would be good, quite frankly.
Bro, unseal that shit now, man. Y'all can unseal it right now.
In December 2023, Director Wray said he sees blinking lights everywhere regarding to foreign terrorist threats against our homeland. How would you characterize the state of threats to our homeland by foreign terrorist groups? Foreign terrorist organizations have adapted and started utilizing online platforms, and so is the FBI. And so while they are adapting and expanding how they harm our country, we have as well. They have not stopped. There's been a resurgence in places like West Africa and elsewhere, foreign terrorist organizations, and also the newly emboldened drug trafficking organizations in Mexico. It's going to take a whole government approach to get Hezbollah fall within that group. Yes, sir. So Hezbollah is involved in not only terrorism, but narcotics.
Bro, Hezbollah's been designated as a terrorist organization since 1997. Since October 1997. I think it was October 7th. Let me double check.
Terrorism? Yes, sir. Do you see, consider Hezbollah a threat to the United States? Absolutely.
FBLA forces have been in your position about 1 click north.
Hey, we know!
Do you have enough?
Slimy's leading a counter-charge.
Sorry, you want this?
Let's go!
Pull that wood! We have confirmation on his location.
There you go. October 8th, 1997. You guys want to know who designated them? And Hamas, same day. Let's have some fun, chat.
The motors have stopped.
FBI agents helping here in Washington, D.C. You have FBI agents helping in illegal immigration. That's good. You've got a chance here to tell us if you need more people. It seems to me that the threat level of this country is pretty high right now. You got thousands of domestic terrorism cases. How many are being investigated? I think 3,500 off the top of my head. 3,500, okay. Anyway, it seems your plate's pretty full. I would urge you to get with your people. And if you think you need more people,
opportunity to plus up the FBI if the threat's justified. Will you look?
I will look, sir.
Okay, but are you comfortable you have enough people right now?
Right now.
Bro, get this thing out of here, bro. Get this guy out of here, bro. Get him out of here.
Was my timing good? Yes, until you've hit all 60. Can you explain that?
Again, that is an entirely inaccurate presupposition. I do not have an enemies list. You can continue to characterize
Okay, this is his book.
it as you wish. The only actions we take, generally speaking, for personnel at the FBI are ones based on merit and qualification and your ability to uphold your constitutional duty. You fall short, you don't work there anymore.
Well, there was a list. You don't like it to be called an enemies list, and it had 60 names, and about 20 have had adverse actions. So those are, I think, pretty clear.
Thank you, Franco.
Let me move on to grand jury testimony, which we also talked about when you were here. I think you indicated...
No, guys, he didn't fire the FBI director. He fired the FBI special agent in charge of Pakistani woman.
us afterwards, whatever they told the grand jury. And you then went on to suggest, saying, I can't
No, guys, I was not FBI. I was Homeland Security Investigations, HSI.
go into court order
But I'm very familiar with how the FBI works. One of my good friends is an FBI agent.
granted by the D.C. District Chief Judge, and you want me to violate a court order. In those remarks, you fairly plainly suggested there was a court order of some kind that somehow restricted or limited your ability to discuss your own testimony to that grand jury. Since then, that Chief Judge that you mentioned, Judge Boasberg, has written, and I'm quoting him here, Federal Rule of Criminal Procedure 6E allows witnesses like Patel to divulge the contents of their testimony, meaning that nothing was preventing him from doing so before.
Yo, are you fucking serious? Bruh, this nigga brought a fucking site?
Coming around again.
Yo! What the hell? Bro, this is a fucking movie.
Committee, can we confirm here today that there is no court order of any kind that limits your ability as a witness before the grand jury to discuss your own testimony to that grand jury?
We can confirm that pursuant to my action, that grand jury testimony has been released. The transcript.
Let's, in what forum was it released, man?
Publicly.
Okay, we'll check on that. The FBI does background investigations. In the case of a U.S. attorney, Janine Pirro, it has come to light that in a civil proceeding, that Fox News executives, prior to her confirmation, called her, I'm quoting here, a reckless maniac who makes, quote, insane comments, and said, I don't trust her to be responsible, and noted her penchant for what they called random conspiracy theories on weird internet sites. My question to you is, did that turn up in her background investigation?
For any background investigation, Senator, we do not discuss those publicly. And for every background investigation, when there's adjudication, it is not made by me. It is made by the career professionals who run the inspection division and background check system.
Do you know if that information was found? You see, we're an oversight body here, and there are really three possibilities here. One is that the FBI background investigation didn't find that stuff. That's worth noting, because these investigations, full field background investigations, are supposed to find that stuff. That's possibility one. Possibility two is that the FBI did in fact find that information, and then did not report it to the administration or to the committee. And the third is that you found it, you reported it to the administration, and they went ahead with her nomination, knowing that she had been described as a reckless maniac who made insane comments who wasn't trusted by colleagues to be responsible, and who had a penchant for random conspiracy theories on weird internet sites. Are you saying that this committee does not have any authority or reason to look into which of those things is true?
This committee can look into anything it wishes. I'm telling you that the background investigations that are done by HRD division are done by career individuals. They do not report the details of those to me. They adjudicate those independently and individually. That's how it's always been done.
What happened during the pause of FBI background investigations that was alleged in the complaint against you and the FBI by the FBI agents who were terminated? On February 12th, Emil Bovee directed the FBI, quote, to pause any FBI background investigations of Trump nominees until Patel was confirmed, which happened on February 20th. Is the general description of what they alleged. Why, do you know, were background investigations paused? Was it so material like this could be scrubbed out of them? And have they been resumed without that pause fully and normally after your arrival on February 20th?
I can speak to the time period since I got there. Background investigations have been ongoing across the board at the FBI.
Why was the pause?
I was not there.
Wasn't explained to you when you got there? Oh, by the way, boss, they've had a multi-8-day pause on background investigations. You think that would be something that would be explained to you at some point?
Again, I leave it to the men and women at the HRD division to run background investigations. I do not interfere with them.
I get that. But what I don't get is whether you were told about that pause. Why would you not be told about that pause?
I don't recall that, sir.
All right.
I don't recall is the magic phrase, guys.
So, relates that part of the employee review of senior staff was whether or not they voted for Kamala Harris in the 2024 election. Since when is who you voted for a proper question for agents to be asked?
I don't know what allegation you're referring to, Senator. If it's from an ongoing matter of litigation, I can't discuss that, but what I can discuss is I can only speak to the FBI's background investigations. There are other background investigations conducted across the government. I can only speak to mine.
So just to clarify, I'm not talking about the FBI full field background investigations. I'm talking about internal employee reviews for promotion, for termination, for job actions of various kinds. And my question to you is it now the policy of the FBI to ask agents who they voted for, and since when is who agents voted for a proper question for the FBI?
Oh, wow. So, guys, this is a very important question. I'll tell you why he's asking this. There's something called the Hatch Act, right, where federal employees are not supposed to openly talk about politics or endorse a certain political party. That's why he's asking this question.
To ask.
Taking those in reverse order, it's not a proper question, and it's improper to allege that I'm doing that. And also, at the FBI specifically, under my leadership, we do not ask who you voted for. And just one correction for the record, if I may, Senator, it's Security Division that runs background investigations, not HRD.
Okay. I'll accept that correction. And
he just evaded the question again.
In the event
he's asking if the policy, if there was a question added to the paperwork in internal reviews, is there a question about who you voted for? Hey, Cash. Matrix, dodge that one.
that we cannot locate your grand jury transcript, just expect a question for the record that will give you the chance to either provide that transcript again if it had been previously provided, or to make the statement that Grand Jury Rule 6E allows you, to the best of your recollection, truthfully, about what it is that you told that grand jury. You understand that?
That's why I wanted the transcript released, and we'll get it to you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Chairman.
I think I want to take an opportunity when we hear about your political weaponization to remind my Democratic colleagues that what's happened the last decade, federal law enforcement, intelligence community, even when Trump was president, has thrown everything at him. They've even gone after his associates and Republican Party organizations. One investigation after another, one prosecution after another. I use the examples you've heard me already say today, Crossfire Hurricane and Arctic Frost. They were all built on defective foundations of political bias. And then we released the Clinton Index and the Durham Index to...
All right, this old nigga yapping. I'll tell you guys this, as much as people say Cash isn't qualified, he's doing a fantastic job of dodging these questions, though. I don't know if you guys caught on. I've been writing a few of the questions he's been dodging.
Tell, welcome. Thank you for...
You in there, brother?
Your willingness to serve in this very challenging position. How many people work for the FBI today?
Approximately 36,500, give or take.
I've always wondered whether an organization that big and that diffused all across the nation was actually capable of being managed. Have you experienced any surprises in terms of the, as the director, in terms of your management of the organization?
In my experience, Senator,
Guys, I'm compiling all the stuff right now in my notes. And after this is done, I'll read chats, and then I'll kind of explain some of the stuff he dodged.
leaders in the field are supposed to lead. So we have empowered, we've changed the structural operation of the FBI to empower SACs in the 56 field office, 55, 56 come 1 October, to lead the mission. We've also empowered the respective assistant directors, operational directors to lead the mission. That is how you manage 36,500, 37,000 people. No one or two people can do it. And that's been the transition, is the power structure is being pushed out to the field operations.
Sounds like a very practical way to approach it. And how is morale?
Morale, when I travel around the country, in my experience, has never been higher. The FBI and the police officers that we work hand in glove with across this country are excited to do the work. And the stats that I'm citing are no achievement of mine. The stats that I'm citing in the 7 months that I've been there, such as a 42% increase in cyber arrests alone this year, is because the men and women at the FBI have been empowered in the field. They want to do the work. They're getting the opportunity to do the work. And with our great partners in the respective states like Texas, and where we just returned a top 10 most wanted fugitive in Cindy Singh, are getting the ability to make those prosecutions a reality.
By the way, Senator Durbin was asking about polygraphs. Aren't polygraphs a standard test given to people with security clearances across the intelligence community?
They are.
As a condition to maintaining your security clearance?
I believe they are.
Yes, every 5 years.
Speaking of intelligence...
And then you also need it when you are going through the hiring process.
I've wondered about over time is, the FBI is the premier law enforcement agency in the nation, but you also have other important responsibilities in counterintelligence. And there's been different debates or people wondering whether, including me, whether that's an appropriate role for the FBI to play. And I guess the most challenging part of that is if it's not at the FBI, where would it go? But can you, given your background, I know as working on the HIPSI and your intelligence background, can you talk a little bit about what you think about the counterintelligence role of the FBI agents? And
guys, I'll ask one of my boys what the morale like is at the FBI right now. I'll ask him for y'all and give y'all the real answer, because he's actually out doing shit.
How that's working?
For obvious reasons, I'm not going to tell you his name or anything like that, but I'll ask him for
What do you think it's performing the way it should, or whether there are other changes or reforms need to be made in order to improve its functioning? As you know, the threats from our adversary nations are just proliferating every day. So what do you think?
The espionage activities of our adversaries have never been so high, and I think the counterintelligence mission is properly housed within the FBI because we've invested with those authorities for Congress, and I believe that mission set is working. And if I can, sir, since January 20th of this year, the FBI has made 55 arrests on the counterintelligence mission alone. That's a 30% increase in CI arrests from the same time year-to-date last year. We've arrested 33% increase in PRC counterintelligence arrests, an 83% increase in Russia counterintelligence arrests from the same time last year, and a 60% increase on Iran counterintelligence arrests from the same time period last year. So we are already on total exceeding the entirety of the number of arrests from the previous year on counterintelligence.
I will say this, guys. It's very hard to prosecute CI cases, counterintelligence. So this is actually very impressive. I'm not going to lie to y'all, right? anyone that's done counterintelligence investigations knows that that's actually pretty impressive.
Intelligence matters across the board.
Look, I'm being unbiased here, guys. I'm roasting him when he says dumb shit, but I'm also giving praise if it's good. And that many arrests for CI is pretty fucking good.
In my opinion, the FBI is the only agency that can do it. Now, we work with the interagency to do it, and we need them, but we have the mission set.
Okay.
Thank you.
We run for the wooden hut.
You know, sometimes I wonder whether we sort of repeat the way we do things because we've always done it that way. And I'm getting up to building up to this issue of the narco trafficking and what President Trump has ordered the Defense Department to do in terms of to take out some of these transnational criminal organizations that are importing poison into the United States and responsible for killing tens of thousands of Americans, maybe hundreds of thousands of Americans over time. Do you think a law enforcement model for dealing with these narco traffickers is adequate to deal with the threat? Or do you think we need to start thinking about this in maybe new and different ways? Obviously, we're not engaged in a war per se, although it is a war metaphorically. And the law enforcement model seems to be not working from the standpoint of dealing with the volume of the threat and the magnitude of the threat. Do you think we need to start thinking about how do we deal within constitutional legal parameters to deal with this problem in a different way to be more effective in protecting the American people?
Absolutely, and the way to analogize this and why I've advocated for the designation, and I'm thankful that the Trump administration has designated these cartels and narco traffickers as foreign terrorist organizations, is because we must treat them like the foreign terrorist organizations post 9/11. We must treat them like the Al-Qaedas of the world because that's how we're
What did I tell you guys? I told you they were going to do this so they could start attacking them with intel assets, foreign assistance, all this shit. It gives them way more power to go after these organizations if they designate them as terrorists. I called this back in January when Trump got sworn in.
in the intelligence community to go after the threat like we did terrorists when we were manhunting them. And now we have that ability, and we're seeing that in live time, whether it's on the strike on the boat or going down into Mexico and working with our Mexican authorities with these intelligence assets to say we've located not just the person in charge, the cadre in charge, but the entire network, and we are now able to dismantle that entire network. It's going to take time. The manhunt after 9/11 took some years, and this is going to be a years-long mission.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned the counterterrorism mission because we've had a lot of experience, the U.S. government writ large, with dealing with terrorism in the Middle East and elsewhere. And obviously some of our...
Guys, do me a favor, smash the like button, bro. I'm here on No Sleep giving y'all this sauce, man. So like the fucking video, guys. Least you guys can do on YouTube. I'm over here streaming for y'all niggas for free, so smash that like button. I will read super chats here soon, guys. For CC, OSS chats.
Friends and allies like Mexico, for example, are very sensitive about sovereignty and being able to control what happens on their territory. But yet we're beginning to see more and more cooperation, as you point out, in that regard. And so, in your opinion, has the counterterrorism model had the lesson by the U.S. government writ large?
Thank you, Robin.
Applied? Are there other things we need to do to make sure that those skills, those lessons learned are applied?
Okay, guys, this dude's just yapping and he's fucking giving softball questions. Guys, give me a one in the chat if you guys want me to give you a summary of what's going on right now. For those of you that are just tuning in, obviously, we've got like what? 5,000 or 6,000 people watching right now. So give me a one in the chat if you guys want me to kind of summarize what's been going on here for y'all real quick, or if you just want me to keep letting it play through. Because I do recognize that our viewership's like doubled in the past 20 minutes. So there's probably people coming in saying, what the fuck is going on? So give me a one if you guys want me to, or give me a two if you want me to just keep playing it. Give me a one if you want a quick summary, or two if you want me to just keep playing it. It's up to y'all. Oh shit. Okay. Alright, I didn't think it was gonna be that much.
Did you secure evac? Negative, we're on our own. Head for the river! Damn it, Vincent! Sounds like half the village is on our ass!
Last week when Charlie Kirk got assassinated, and the FBI got involved in the case, a lot of people criticized Kash Patel's, leadership during that investigation. He put out 2 tweets saying we got the guy, when in reality they didn't catch the guy. Dude ended up, turning himself in, but the FBI took credit. They had this really stupid and awkward press conference. He told Kirk, I'll see you about Hollywood. Like a fucking devout Christian. Just a lot of weird shit that looked bad optically. So basically they brought him in to answer questions because people are, kind of questioning his qualifications to be director of the FBI. So, That's what these people are kind of asking questions about. Not just the Kirk stuff, but they're going to ask some questions about, you know, the Rick Gangster's book, the podcasting, the conspiracy theories, you know, firing people that opposed Trump during the Biden administration, or people that are investigated Trump. So they're grilling him on a multitude of different things. And he's under oath right now, so he can't lie. So if you guys notice, he's deflecting a lot of the fucking questions given to him, saying shit like, oh, I don't recall, I'll release whatever I'm allowed to release legally. Translation, I'm not giving out nothing that's classified and unprotected. They asked him if Jeffrey Epstein was an intelligence asset of a foreign government. He fucking deflected that. He said, no, Epstein was not an FBI source. Right. That's not what they asked you. They asked you if Epstein was a foreign intel asset, not if he was an FBI informant. But dude's fucking senile, didn't do a follow-up question and clarify, so he just said, oh, okay, let me just go. So notice how the people that like Cash are giving softball, you know, questions, and the people that don't like him are kind of putting his feet to the fire. But Cash has been doing a really good job of deflecting questions. Dude's a master at it, but he has a lawyer. You guys are wondering, this is why he's doing this shit so well. Anyway, let's keep cooking. Give me what's in the chat if that all makes sense with the summary.
Go now!
If it doesn't make sense, give me a 2 and then tell me why. And do not say 2 because I'm blind. Right.
I got you, brother.
Funny after the first or 100th time, but after 1,000 times, come on, guys. Give me a 1 if it makes sense. Give me a 2.
Keep moving.
If it doesn't make sense, then say 1.
Traffic. I can only speak to the FBI. We are applying all of them to our counter, the CT mission set to the CM mission set, and we're using the new authorities given to our intelligence community partners in the Department of War to combine these collective efforts and, in a new way, meeting together and creating an interagency process that gets after this threat dynamic. And whether that's a kill operation, a capture operation, a surrender operation, or a host nation takedown, like we did with the counterterrorism mission sets in Afghanistan, in Iraq, and Pakistan, and elsewhere, we are applying that to the drug traffickers in Mexico and Venezuela and Colombia.
Incoming orders!
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We have seen too much political violence in this country. We all know that. Just last week, your friend Charlie Kirk was gunned down.
Oh, here we go.
On a college campus. I'm sorry for your loss. In Minnesota, only 2 months ago, a madman took the life of my friends, Melissa and Mark Portman, shot Senator John Hoffman and his wife Yvette a combined 17 times. And evidence indicates that he would have killed a lot more if law enforcement hadn't intervened. Just last month in my state, we were again shook to the core when little kids were shot down through stained glass windows in Annunciation Catholic Church in Minneapolis. And while the victims weren't politicians in this case, they were 6-year-olds and 8-year-olds. The manifest doubt that the shooter left behind was political. But in the words of your own federal law enforcement, this person was an all-purpose hater. Went after blacks, Hispanics, the president, Muslims, Jews.
Yeah, bro was fucking retarded.
During the first mass of the year.
These T people are fucking sick in the head, guys.
And 2 children, 8-year-old Fletcher Merkel, 10-year-old.
Political ideology all over the fucking place.
The kids, 18 kids, severely. Fletcher was just starting 3rd grade. He loved his family, his friends. He loved fishing and cooking, in his dad's words, any sport he was allowed to play. Harper, the other child, we celebrated her life this Sunday. Thousands of people. Her parents described her as joyful and a deeply loved 10-year-old whose laughter, kindness, and spirit.
Bro, ask the question. What the fuck? Bro, ask him the question.
The wheelchair, room under the pew, and laid on top of him. We do thank the local FBI director and the local U.S. Attorney's Office for their work in both of these cases, the Portman case and this. I do want to focus on one local law enforcement moment that I'm not sure has made with all the news going on in Minnesota. When the first 911 call, and you've heard about other places where this waited and waited, the first 911 call was made at 8:27 a.m. The first officer was on the scene just 4 minutes later. Local Minneapolis police at 8:31 a.m. The Chief O'Hara, shared with me the actual numbers. Listen to this. Over 20 people were in ambulances just 14 minutes, all of them, after the police got on the scene. 14 minutes after the first call. Tourniquets, stretchers, and they got them all to Hennepin County Medical Center and Minneapolis Children's Hospital. And I think it is worth looking at what happened there because one of the dads whose daughter was severely injured, still in the hospital.
Still yapping. Guys, do me a favor, bro. Join the OSS. $10 a month. Keep the mission going. That's how I'm able to do streams like this and just pop up and give y'all value. So if you fuck with the content, you like and support me, I'm demonetized on YouTube. Really appreciate it. Keeps the fucking fight going. So I can keep doing shit like this for you guys. And I'm probably gonna do a stream later tonight too. So, yeah, and we're almost at our goal, guys. So 5,000 strong. You know, that way we can offset the fucking demonetization on YouTube. So I appreciate all you guys. Really do.
Put it on the line for me. For honor, friendship.
Senator, I think there are
Just like you, kid.
instances
Link is pinned in the chat. Join OSS.locals/support.
on this legislation that could prevent future attacks, but I'm not going to weigh into the creation of legislation.
Could you also look at shouldn't have, but could you look at the numbers on the ages?
Yes.
Because from 18, even going from 18 to 21, which wouldn't have prevented the shooter in Annunciation Church from purchasing that gun. He purchased several this same day. Over 100 rounds were fired from the assault weapon through the stained glass windows. So if you went up to 25, it would have stopped that immediate purchase and probably saved the lives of these kids. But if you go to 21, that is the same age that already applies to purchasing handguns from federally licensed dealers. So I prefer another approach, but I was hoping that our Republican colleagues would at least look at that, given Uvalde, Buffalo, and some of these other mass shootings, trying to be practical, but thinking that it could make a major difference.
Well, man, a lot of these from their parents, dude. And that's kind of a big red pill. He just yapping, man.
What do you think of that?
So, Senator, you're talking to my heart here on one of the core missions at the FBI, which is our CGIS facility in Winchester, Virginia, which there are guns, but we can do better.
All right, well, just if you could get back to me on all those and talk to the White House. Threats against elected officials have increased exponentially. Members of Congress received more than 9,000 threats last year, up from 1,600 in 2016. There's been a lot of talk about the rhetoric and the like. And
The Covenant School, Christian school in Nashville. We've seen school shooting at the Annunciation School. We've seen church shootings multiply. We've seen acts of crime and violence, vandalism, arson against churches and parishes all across the country. And then, of course, last week, Charlie Kirk, who said, "I want to be remembered for my courage, for my faith," was shot on a college campus.
Yes, Charlie. I'm sorry, guys. I haven't slept, bro. Thank you. Thank you for correcting me in the chat, guys. My bad. I'm literally fucking heavy-ass eyelids, man.
Yes, let me just start with the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Is the FBI, and I appreciate the tremendous work the FBI has done in this investigation, is the FBI investigating the Kirk assassination as part of this broader pattern of anti-religious, anti-Christian violence?
We are investigating Charlie's assassination fully and completely, and running out every lead related to any allegation of broader violence, and we're producing results on that we'll disclose when appropriate.
Good. Glad to hear that. Let me just ask you questions about that if I can.
Charlie is a fucking hardcore Zionist, guys. He fucking X-Sense went back and forth talking about how much they both love Israel, bro. It was fucking cringe as fuck.
Good. Reports have suggested that the FBI is investigating a broader network of groups that may have had some knowledge of the shooter's plans. Can you give us any details on that? I don't know what you already said in public. How's the FBI working to find other potential accomplices, folks who may have known about the shooter's plans, folks who may have encouraged him? Any of them?
So in terms of what we do for an interrogation, the family and community immediately, and we've conducted those investigations and interrogations. Of course, we're continuing to do that because those closest to the suspect are going to talk the most about the suspect and police psychology on top of that. Chat, if those familiar with it, it's a gaming chat room online that the suspect participated in. So what we're doing, we've already done, is our legal process, not just on Discord, so that the information we gathered is sustained and held in a evidentiary posture that we could use in prosecution should we decide to do so. We're also going to be investigating anyone and everyone involved in that Discord chat.
Very good. I see the public reports that it's worth as many as 20 additional users. Sounds like you're trying to run down all of that, see if that's accurate. Who else may have been in that thread? What they know, is that fair to say?
It's a lot more than that.
It's all the 20?
Yes, sir.
And you're running all of it?
Every single one.
Yeah, fantastic. Let me just give you a few stats that I'm sure that you're all too familiar with. Every person in America certainly is. Major.
Here we go. More happening.
100 instances of hostility against churches in the United States in the year 2024, including arrests, threats, shootings, and firearm incidents. Another organization found that there were 500 attacks on Catholic parishes alone. The 950, that's been all Christian churches in 2024. Another organization found 500 separate attacks on just Catholic parishes since May of 2020. Of course, we have the Covenant School shooting, the Annunciation School shooting, the Southern Church of Martinez, and Reagan and Q. Here's my question. What is the FBI doing to take on this rising tide of violence that seems to be motivated by anti-religious hatred?
Specifically, sir, we have 60 anti-Catholic hate crime incidents reports that are being investigated. Probably, I can tell you, we have 5 hate crime investigations with anti-Catholic bias ongoing currently in the states, in the cities of Kansas City, Louisville, Houston, Nashville, and Richmond. That's what I can say publicly, but any ideologically-based attack against any faith, as a man of faith myself, will not be tolerated, and the full resources of the FBI are committed to all of it.
Are you investigating any domestic cells that instigate or encourage or fund or in any way support attacks on churches or organizations?
Senator, you raise an incredible point that most people don't look at. I've always said we follow the money, and whether it's terrorism or attacks based on ideology or attacks on institutions of faith or people's faith, someone's paying for it, and we are first tracing those steps.
Yeah, you know, I always say that too when I was an agent. You gotta always follow the money. But as you guys can tell, this guy also is like cash giving these softball questions.
Bring the appropriate steps against them with our partners at DOJ.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. We look forward to hearing reports on progress.
Sorry about that.
Let me just ask you this in the same vein, Director. Since the Dobbs decision, the FBI has advertised $25,000 rewards for information on attacks on abortion clinics. Will the FBI similarly offer rewards for information on attacks on houses of worship?
Yes, when it is appropriate, the rewards are any reward, whether it's attacking a house of faith or on a homicide or whatever, is determined by a group within the FBI, but we will work with them to make sure that rewards of monetary value are put out for all ideologically based attacks.
Good. You just rattled off some statistics which I was glad to hear about the number of investigations you have opened against tracking against Christians, against houses of worship. Let me just ask you if you consider designating a senior official as a liaison to houses of worship, to Christian and other religious organizations, to publish metrics on investigations and arrests related to church attacks, church threats, vandalism, arson, etc. Would you set up a system for liaising and reporting so that everybody can see, this committee and the public can see?
Bro, ask the questions the American people want, man. What the fuck, bro? Look, I love my Christians, man, but we literally are in the middle of a fucking huge case. Like, bro, ask the town, who was the country that provided foreign intelligence on this fucking guy? Why was the rifle found in the fucking woods assembled? Right? When it was presumably disassembled after the shooting. Like, come on, dude. Give the people what they want.
Just how many attacks we're talking about, just with the level of threat and violence is what the FBI is doing about.
Senator, you're speaking my language. The private
translation. You're asking me softball questions, so I don't have to fucking answer hard ones where I got to fuck with other people. Like, dude.
Public sector partnership on this specific issue, just like the other ones we've talked about, is
notice how much more open Cash is when he's talking to his buddies versus people that are antagonists. Have you guys put on to that? With his buddies ask softball questions, answers it very professionally, direct. When the haters ask him questions, he deflects those answers to the question and obfuscates, stalls. I don't recall. You guys notice that?
This is equally transformative to finding those involved in these criminal.
And he's purposely asking questions that's going to elicit a populism response that makes Cash look better. Hey, what are you doing to combat this terrorism on churches and Christian people? This is what we're doing, right? Makes it look good. Makes it ask me look good. This is a big circle jerk.
Activities, and with your assistance, I would ask you if you're able to identify someone who's an expert in that area. We will work with them. We'll take their information, because as great as the FBI is, we're only as good as the information we can get. We don't have the reach that the private sector does in some of these areas.
Very good. Happy to help on that. Let me ask you about something specific to the FBI, because sadly, as you know, the FBI, when it comes to anti-religious animus, has been part of the problem before you got to this agency. And I know that you remember the infamous memo generated by the FBI that attempted to recruit informants in houses of worship, in particular in Catholic parishes. Your predecessor testified with this information. I just want to reiterate, this memo became public because of a whistleblower. It was not turned over to this committee. It was not disclosed to this committee. In fact, we were told it didn't exist, and then a whistleblower published it, showing that indeed the FBI had recruited informants, attempted to, into Catholic parishes. Your predecessor then testified, sitting right where you are today, he testified that this, I'm going to quote, was a single product by a single field office, end quote. That was a lie.
Yo, this idiot in the YouTube chat, Dark Math Maximus. Myron loving these Dems a bit too much today. Ole. Bro, you're a fucking retard, dude. You're literally a fucking retard. Did you not just see when I was making fun of that dumbass woman that was yapping for 10 minutes? The fuck are you talking about? I'm supporting the Dems. We want answers, bro. He's been avoiding the fucking shooter. He's been avoiding fucking Epstein.
Coming on the convoy now.
Because we then had additional whistleblowers come forward and say, no, act
fucking retard in the chat. Bro, some of you guys on YouTube are like 50 IQ, man. God damn.
Actually, multiple field officers contributed to the and indeed, there was a second.
Hey guys, the reason why I'm speeding it up is every time I pause, I speed up so we can get back to it. This is live right now.
Anti-Catholic memo that the FBI generated, and indeed, those memos were distributed to over 1,000 FBI agents across the country. You know all of this, you would talk about it when you were here for the confirmation hearing back in January. I just want to follow up and see, have you been able to determine how this memo got written and distributed? How is it that the Federal Bureau of Investigation came to be recruiting informants in Christian churches in this country?
Senator, we did dig in, and we are doing our investigation simultaneously.
Bro, they do that shit all the time. They go to mosques and recruit people. Like, bro, religion, I hate to say it, terrorism a lot of times likes to hide behind religion. It is what it is. It's an unfortunate reality, but go to mosques, find terrorists, go to churches, find, violent extremists. It is what it is, right? Because that's typically where we're going to find these radical militia-type dudes. It's been going on forever.
get aboard! They're mounted
There need
MPs
to
on
be.
each side of the
Because
bar!
if this is going to be standard at the FBI, nobody can trust it. You want to talk about violating the First Amendment? This has got First Amendment violation written all over it. It's one of the most revolting chapters in the FBI's history. And considering we're seeing more broadly the acts of violence against people of faith, this has absolutely got the end of the FBI's. So I count on you to do that. Let me just, in the minute or so that I have remaining, let me just shift gears and ask about something else you said earlier. You said that protecting our youth is maybe the vein. I'm sure you
See, this is the problem with fucking politicians like this. Like, this guy has never done an investigation in his life, doesn't know how to recruit informants, doesn't understand how criminals work under the auspice of legitimate organizations like churches, mosques, etc. Like, dude, this guy, dude, the best informants a lot of times, especially when it comes to terrorism, typically come from places of worship. So, it's not out of the ordinary to recruit informants from these religious institutions.
Guidelines allow it. What can we do about that?
You're referring to NVE, Nihilistic Violent Extremism, and 764. It has been made a priority of the FBI because they are targeting children, and these chatbots and these generative AI are getting coupled with actual humans who are using them and releasing them because they can do the work faster and quicker than humans can and get into spaces like social media where humans have a difficulty in engaging. And what we're doing is treating any extension of generative AI as the criminal themselves. And we have, I think, I've got to give the number back to you, but over 1,000 investigations related to NVE. We've had numerous takedowns and arrests of 764 individuals, and we are educating. This may be the most important part. I'm directly engaging with the social media and media companies, the internet service providers, to find a way to shut down. There's nothing I can do at the FBI to force them to shut it down. We'll work with you in Congress to find a way to work with our partners to get that shut down permanently.
Body badly decomposed. These men have been dead for weeks.
Thank you, Chairman, for calling this hearing. I'm grateful for continuing this committee's long tradition of oversight, and in particularly today, oversight of the FBI. Director Patel, thank you for being here. There's a number of issues I hope that we can speak to. I want to start by reading something you said to me during your confirmation hearing under oath. I have no interest, no desire, and will not, if confirmed, go backwards. There will be no politicization of the FBI. Then you looked me in the eyes and said there will be no retribution actions taken by the FBI. Should I be confirmed as director? I told you that in your office, and I tell you that again today. I'm concerned that that's not what's happened. That since you took over as director,
here we go.
You've cleaned house, forced out senior leaders across the bureau. In particular, targeting those that worked on investigations of President Trump. The former acting director has just sued you for firing him for political reasons. So did a leader in the D.C. field office.
It's a couple of FBI agents, guys, that they literally dropped this lawsuit a couple days ago.
And the well-respected leader of the Salt Lake City office was pushed out last month, leaving that office short-handed at a particularly difficult time. I'm worried that these actions compromise the Bureau's ability to keep Americans safe. Hundreds of agents have resigned. You are lowering application standards to fill vacancies. You've reassigned large numbers of agents to work on immigration and street crime, issues other law enforcement agencies can handle, perhaps more effectively with the FBI. But I'm concerned that this compromises the Bureau's ability to address national security risks, uniquely its capability. In fact, you've shut down the Office of Integrity and Compliance, which makes sure that agents act in a lawful and ethical way, and reassign staff away from domestic terrorism investigations, exactly at a moment I think we are all concerned about. I also have to ask, you came before the Appropriations Committee in May and told us you wanted a $500 million budget cut for the FBI, literally an effort to defund the police. I am grateful for the work of the men and women of the FBI. They've done great work this year in Delaware, partnering with the Dover Police Department to support human trafficking victims, partnering with the Middletown Police Department on armed robbery and carjacking. And it's urgent, I think, that we fix the direction and the prioritization within the FBI. And I wish we could focus on those efforts today. But I'm seeing an FBI leadership more focused on social media clout and on political revenge than on fighting crime. Director, have you ever ordered that an FBI employee be terminated because he or she worked on an investigation into President Trump?
Oh, shit.
Senator, thank you. One quick correction for the record. There's 280 NVE investigations. I gave the incorrect number to Senator Hawley. Thank you.
Understood.
As far as A lot of your statement, I disagree with it. I'm happy to address it. But the only way, generally speaking, an individual is terminated at the FBI is if they have violated their oath of office, violated the law, or failed to uphold the standards that we need them to have at the FBI.
So those who
Notice how those three things are extremely broad.
That means they've got a
See how he didn't answer the question,
for emergency extraction.
but gave a politically correct answer?
say that
You guys catch that?
they've been fired because of working on investigations into President Trump are lying or misrepresenting?
Well, those matters are alleged in litigation, which is ongoing, so I can't comment on those specifically.
Could you comment on why you fired former acting FBI Director Driscoll?
I can't because it's ongoing litigation.
Could you say now definitively under oath that the rank and file agents who were assigned to work January 6 cases will not be terminated because that's what they were assigned to do?
I've said it before and I've said it again. Your case assignment, as I was given case assignments when I was a young prosecutor, does not dictate your career or your termination.
Thank you. Then let me go to the appropriations question. In May, you testified before the subcommittee on which I served, defending the president's request that we slash the FBI's budget by about $500 million. The day before, you testified the opposite in front of the House. Where are we in terms of the budget request? Senator Graham earlier said if you're requesting more funding for more agents, let us know. We're nearing the end of the fiscal year. In front of the committee on which I served here in the Senate, your request was for a reduction of hundreds of millions of dollars. Where are we?
Where we are in the budget cycle is we at the FBI are in support of the president's budget, and we are in support of eliminating waste, fraud, and abuse. We've already identified tens of millions of dollars of duplicative contracts that the FBI was spending on software and private sector engagements. We've also identified duplicative workloads. So we are transitioning those folks out of doing the same thing twice over and into the field. And that's my focus right now. And the move of the FBI headquarters is also going to save the FBI $3.5 billion in the American taxpayers. So we're focused on eliminating waste, fraud, and abuse. And as I told Senator Graham, I'll go back and talk to my team, and if we need more, we'll let you know.
Are you planning any additional reductions in force, Director?
No.
Stay close.
How many vacancies are you currently trying to fill within the agency?
In terms of the 1811 ranks, there's a few hundred open vacancies that we have funded. And so we're filling all of those with our hybrid 1811 program and our new recruitment program, and I think a lesser amount of IAs and SOS.
So if hundreds of agents have retired or taken the fork in the road offer, and you have vacancies, but you're requesting $500 million less, how does having fewer FBI agents help you tackle violent crime and address our national security issues?
Just to put it in perspective, Senator, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. If we had this $500 million, we've done the math. It would take us 14 years to onboard every vacancy that's on the books currently at the FBI, because we can't hire these folks and train them overnight. It's a years-long process. So we are...
Yeah, it's a very lengthy process.
In the positions.
But the FBI's had manpower issues for a few years now.
I'm going to radio for help.
If we had this extra money, wouldn't be able to hire them overnight.
I'll take care of
We're
Woods.
looking for where the need is greatest, where in the country we need to send them, and how we can change the training requirements, which is why I'm thrilled to have police officers. They might not have a college degree, but they got the street smarts and the cop smarts to become FBI agents, and that's what we want.
Let me turn to Section 702. When you testified in front of the CJS subcommittee, we talked about this issue. You told me you were in favor of reauthorizing FISA Section 702 when it expires next year, so long as the reform...
FISA is the Foreign Intelligence Act, which allows them to basically spy on people in national,
Do not concern
from a national
yourself
security
with local
perspective.
politics.
It has its own court system.
Prosta marionette.
Implemented last year reforms like better training for agents and real consequences for inappropriate searches of Americans' communications were maintained. You also said that you had some ideas about how to make Section 702 better going forward. Can you give me an update on the FBI's implementation of these reforms in the direction you think it should go?
Absolutely. I think you're referring to the query process. If you're not, we know. But any instance of abuse or mistakes that were made in the query process have now changed. You can make those mistakes and continue to access the query database system. I've changed that. If you make a mistake, you're immediately sidelined or review is conducted. And if it was an actual mistake, i.e., there should have been an S on the end of that name and there wasn't, then they put you back in. But we have to review those matters, so that's happening. And if there was an intentional mistake, you have no more access to the 702 query system, and it's database. So we've also done an audit of the entire 702 system and the query databases, and now we're nearly 100% of the audit. And I think we found one or two, to get back to you, quote-unquote mistakes within that system.
Just keep moving!
Thank you. You had told me in May that you'd send me updated statistics.
Guys, when they're talking about 702, they're talking about FISA, or the Foreign Intelligence Service Surveillance Act.
Things about the Section 702 searches of Americans' data. I haven't received it. When will I get them?
I'll work with my team to get that to you, Senator.
And frankly, in May, when you were testifying that you were implementing these reforms, you were also closing down the Office of Internal Auditing at the FBI. Now, that was the office created in the first Trump administration to improve the Bureau's compliance with Section 702. How is that working out? How can you continue to advocate for robust civil liberty protections, but shut down the office that was created to enforce those safeguards? Help me understand.
Absolutely, Senator. This is a great example of sort of duplicative work. Both, there was two divisions in the FBI working on this, and all we did was the inspection division, which is the leader in this query system and this audit.
Inspections division is their internal affairs guys. That's what they call their internal affairs agents.
That system has now been given the single source mandate to conduct these. So the OIA, its elimination is just taking folks who are there and were experts in it and folded in under the inspection division, and then taking other folks that we didn't need because we had enough manpower.
And guys, don't worry, I still saw chats. I'm going to read them when we get a chance during a break in this hearing.
Pushing them elsewhere in the FBI.
I'm concerned about the rise in threats against members of our judiciary.
We gotta make a run for the river!
Commercial service to help protect our federal judges and with state and local judicial systems to provide some of the expertise the FBI can protect.
I share your concern, Senator. We have 35 open investigations, 17 against federal judges, and the remainder against state court judges and threats that they have received. And as you know, federally, there's a specific statute which prohibits that, so we are working up those cases and referring them to prosecution where we can meet the threshold for evidence.
In your written testimony, you referenced how counter-UAS legislation expires and we need to resolve the conflict in jurisdiction and authority. I agree this is an urgent concern. I've heard from state and local law enforcement about it.
All right, man, they're getting really into the weeds about shit that the American public doesn't really care about. Like, this is shit for me, guys. Like, this isn't shit for y'all to really care about. Right, they're talking about little nuances and policy here, funding here. Hey, how are we going to do this here? Like, bro, these are not the questions the American public cares about right now.
The folks responsible for major events, whether it's sports or concerts or public events. Given the tragic increase in political violence, I'm very concerned about the misuse of drones and the potential of there being a catastrophic event. What could we do to address this challenge?
Obviously, reauthorizing the capabilities that we have with the counter-UAS program. But just to highlight what the FBI is specifically doing, we've been given the mandate to work with DHS to secure not just the Club World Cup that we had, by the way, which occurred in 32 matches across the country without any significant incident, which we're proud of, and we're taking that model for the next World Cup and also the Olympics. But the reason I bring that up is because we pushed out our counter-UAS programs to address the security needs, and that's where our focus is on events like that.
Mr. Director, thank you for your testimony. I look forward to working on actually solving criminal problems and reducing the extent to which what we're going back and forth about is.
Guys, smash the like button for me on YouTube. I think I'm going to cut YouTube soon, guys, and go to Rumble and Kick only so we can be uncensored. Well, get ready. We're going to probably switch here soon.
More political and partisan point scoring and more actually solving crimes for the American people. Yes, sir.
We got him, Mason.
Mr. Director, you and the FBI working with state and local law enforcement.
You can't kill me. Next to your old man.
Have
put it on the line
caught
for me. For honor.
The assassin, Mr. Charlie Kirk. Is that right?
We have a suspect.
Just like you, kid.
And you did that within 48 hours, did you not?
33 hours.
Congratulations.
That is fast. I ain't gonna lie.
We've had other political assassinations back in
assuming he's the real shooter.
an assassinated Representative Melissa Hoffman, Mr. Hoffman, Senator John Hoffman, and Mrs. Hoffman in Minnesota.
Back then,
you and the FBI and Minnesota state and local law enforcement officials caught the assassin within 48
got a whole
hours.
private fucking army hidden out there.
I believe that timeline's correct, Senator.
Cubans.
Congratulations.
Elite rank. State-of-the-art tech.
Sometimes
How many followers does Cordes do you have right now? What, a
we
billion
missed
people?
the forest for the trees. Good work.
Try 2 billion. Who'll never believe their leader's a terrorist. They think Menendez is their savior.
Did Mr. Kirk
They got a hell of a disappointment coming. That's all I can
assassinate
say.
alone?
As I've
Time to
said
go
since
see
the
what
beginning,
Menendez
Senator,
got
it is
down
very
there.
much an ongoing investigation, and I can't speak to the state charges. That's for the state to address on their own, but we are providing them with the same investigatory findings reporting the department. And as I noted to Senator, I believe it was Cornyn or Hawley, that there are a number of individuals that are currently being investigated and interrogated, and a number yet to be investigated.
The Discord chat.
That chat room. So we are very much in our ongoing posture of investigation.
So others could have been involved?
Yes, sir.
The surface is a little uneven. Jam hard with the nano.
I asked you this
So
last
far,
time
so
you were
good.
here. Cash, you remember Mr. Peter Struck and Ms. Lisa Page?
Yes, sir.
Bro, dude, ask about the foreign intelligence, man. Ask about why the rifle was assembled. Come on, dude.
Mr. Struck was an FBI agent. Ms. Page was an FBI lawyer. They
One more
were
time.
both
Let's go.
very aggressive anti-Trump political activists who allowed their political opinions to affect their work at the FBI. Is that a fair statement?
I believe their text messages and their testimony that was secured by the OIG and DOJ speak for themselves.
In fact, Mr. Struck and Ms. Page were having an extramarital affair. At one point, Ms. Page texted Mr. Struck, quote, "Trump's not ever going to be president, right? Right?" Mr. Struck replied,
You okay? Yeah.
"No,
Okay.
no, he won't.
Thanks to you.
We will
Wide
stop
open.
it." End quote.
A little more than skeleton crew. Walk in the park.
No seas idiota.
Ms. Page resigned from the
Not
FBI.
underestimate
Mr. Struck was fired. They promptly sued the federal government, the FBI, and Justice Department for releasing their emails, which revealed all this.
It's Latin.
The FBI
Some shit like that.
settled that lawsuit for $1.2 million.
That's what
Gave
Menendez
Mr.
wants his
Struck
followers to
$1.2 million cash.
Trust me.
Gave Ms.
It
Page,
isn't.
Bro,
Crosby,
no one
you're
gives
up.
a fuck about this. Was years ago.
gave her $800,000. Who, if the FBI made that decision to give them money?
That settlement was reached in the Biden administration when my predecessor was director.
Who? Are you saying that Chris Wray did?
The only people that can decide that settlement are the Attorney General in conjunction with the director and the administration.
Okay, so you're telling me that Attorney General Garland and Director Wray decided to give them the money?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, when you took over the FBI,
Right, man.
did you find instances of where, under the Biden administration, the FBI had weaponized the agency to push the political leader, President Biden?
Sorry, the last part.
When you took over the FBI, did you find instances of where the Biden administration had politicized the FBI to prosecute its political agenda?
Well, I won't speak for other people. Haven't been a target of that weaponization. Haven't been a staffer on the House Intelligence Committee. Having had the Justice Department weaponized against me for making the findings and leading the investigation of Russiagate, I know what that feels like, and that's why, as the FBI director, I'm committing to not ever have that ever happen again. But I'm also committed to fully investigate.
Guys, do me a favor, smash the like button if you're watching on YouTube. I'd appreciate it.
Over. Ready on your go.
Smash that like button.
Investigating what was done, and that matter is still ongoing.
We got 2,700. Let's get to at least 4,000. I'm gonna take a quick piss, guys.
So I assume
I don't know how that can be true when the stats that I cited, to include the 23,000 arrests, 6,000 weapons seized, 1,600 gang and criminal enterprise organizations, 4,700 children found and rescued, more enough fentanyl seized to kill a third of America. The men and women of the FBI are now on an apolitical mission, and this is why the numbers are historic.
have you fired people because they voted for Vice President Harris?
I don't ask people who they vote for, and neither does the FBI.
But you've given people polygraphs, have you not?
Many people in the FBI take polys.
The FBI does that all the time.
Yes, sir.
Not
Yes, sir.
for a long time, is that correct?
Decades.
true about the Epstein files. Have you seen the Epstein files?
I have not reviewed the entirety of it myself, but a good amount.
Would it be fair to say that Mr. Epstein trafficked young women, including, in some instances, minors,
Okay, nice.
sex to himself?
That was specifically the allegations in the 2018 indictment in the Southern District of New York.
Who else did he traffic these young women?
In terms of what the investigation, again, going back to 2008, Mr. Acosta, who limited the investigation and limited the search warrants and limited the parameters of the investigation. The only thing we are able to speak to publicly, because he was given a non-prosecution agreement by Mr. Acosta, is that first time period from, I believe, don't quote me on this, 97 to 2001-ish. And then when the Trump administration agreed to reopen it.
Ask you to interrupt. I'm going to run out of time. You've seen most of the files. Who, if anyone, did Epstein traffic these young women to besides himself?
Himself. There is no credible information. None. If there were, I would bring the case yesterday that he trafficked to other individuals. And the information we have, again, is limited.
So the answer is no one?
For the information that we have.
In the files?
In the case file.
Okay. Now, President Trump has referred to the FBI, Department of Justice.
Yeah, and I'm watching this porno right now to see if the plumber's gonna fix this leak. Bro, get the fuck out of here, man. Are you fucking serious, bro? This nigga, man. Bruh, we might as well just say retarded shit all day. Hey, we watched this porno. We didn't care about the sex scene. We're just here to see if he actually delivers his pizza. Get the fuck out of here, bro.
With respect to the Epstein records, he says it is your call about releasing. And I understand that the department and the agency have decided to release them in cooperation with the House committee. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So you're releasing them a little bit at a time. Is that correct?
We're releasing as much as we can, but we are limited by 3 different court orders, and the department went back to each of those judges to waive those court orders or have them lifted, and each of those judges declined.
Will you release all of them, or at least as many as you can?
We will release everything we are legally permitted to do so. We are continuing.
And that's, here's what this means, translation. I am under no obligation to give you the classified stuff because I cannot legally do it. Okay? The shit that we're looking for, guys, when it comes to Epstein is probably going to be high-side stuff. Stuff that's classified. Especially since there was good information that he was a foreign asset. So that means automatically it's going to be classified. So notice the choice of words that Kash Patel is doing. He's very smart. And he's doing this deliberately, right? To cover his own ass.
To work with the House on the subpoena request, we have substantially complied with it, but we will continue to release whatever we are legally permitted to do.
That is the key, chat. When this is all said and done, if they come back and say, you did not release the files, he's going to say, at the time, I could not release the files because they were classified. Mark my words. There's a reason why he's purposely saying this under oath. We will release what we legally can release.
We'll encourage you to do that. Cash, this issue's not going to go away. And I think that the essential question for the American people is this. They know that Epstein trafficked.
Dude, this is so fucking frustrating to watch, dude. I wish I was there. Dude, this is what this fucking retard should be asking. We are aware. I'm sorry, guys, this is so frustrating. We are aware that Jeffrey Epstein was criminally charged by the FBI New York office in the Southern District of New York. We're also aware of the fact that there were investigations in South Florida. We're aware of what transpired with Acosta and the non-prosecution letter. Understandable. Ghislaine Maxwell went to trial. Number one question, can you release everything from the Ghislaine Maxwell trial so the people at least have everything for the criminal investigation? That's number one. Number two, this is very fucking important, chat. Number two, we are aware of Epstein's criminal investigation. I want, or I'll start with this. Are there classified documents pertaining to Jeffrey Epstein that the FBI are custodians over? That's the question you must ask. Are there classified or high-side documents pertaining to Jeffrey Epstein? Because I guarantee you there are. And then when he says, potentially, okay, have you gone with Tulsi Gabbard to look at this stuff? Because she is the director of national intelligence. And if you have not, I need you guys to declassify that stuff immediately and put it out. Because the only way we're going to find out if Jeffrey Epstein was in fact an Israeli asset is we must put out all the classified documents with him. But I'll tell you why this might not happen, or more than likely won't happen.
Surface installation is neutralized.
People that Jeffrey Epstein conspired with are probably still alive and powerful people, especially within the Israeli government. So the declassifying of these documents would be crippling to what's going on with Israel now, because Israel's reputation is down the fucking toilet with their current campaign in the Gaza Strip. The last thing they could afford right now is for a scandal to come out about Jeffrey Epstein while they're simultaneously conducting a genocide. Do you guys see where I'm going with this now? But since all these Senate people are fucking retards, like Hawley and this guy and never done investigations, don't understand, you know, the high side versus the criminal side, you need to be very specific with a guy like Kash Patel. Because he's been dancing around these motherfuckers,
what we saw up top
doing the Macarena and shit.
Walls are several
Matrix left and right, bobbing and weaving and shit.
Update Briggs. Tell him we're moving
for like over an hour. So you must be specific.
This is Harper.
Are there classified documents pertaining to Jeffrey Epstein?
Requesting immediate cleanup and containment.
That's the question you gotta ask. And if he says no, that's a fucking lie. That is a fucking lie if he says no. That's a trick question. There are classified documents on Epstein because there were allegations that he was an Israeli asset. If the FBI mandated gets information that a subject is involved in any type of counterintelligence or working for a foreign intelligence service,
Salazar,
it's
get it open.
near automatic
Enemy's optic system.
that the FBI will open up
working on
a
analysis.
counterintelligence investigation. Okay? And in that counterintelligence investigation, a lot of the stuff is going to be classified. But notice, and this is what I'm going to get to with the, okay? Cold punch! And this is the smoking gun. Kash Patel admitted earlier during this hearing that they had increased their counterintelligence arrests by 30%. Now that you guys understand how the high side works, and now that you guys understand that counterintelligence investigations almost always deal with classified information, let's get to the second part. In order to use classified information to do a criminal investigation, to prosecute, which is what Kash Patel's bragging about, we arrested a bunch of people on counterintelligence cases. That means, by definition, you must declassify the documents so they can be used in a court of law. So don't fucking sit here and tell me that, number one, you don't have classified documents on Epstein, and then number two, that you can't declassify. Because in this, your own hearing here, you are admitting that you've been able to get more counterintelligence prosecutions, which by definition means you had to declassify documents. Yeah, does that make sense? Very important, dude. Very important, and it's very frustrating to watch this shit because all these fucking people are retards, fucking idiots, that don't understand how the intelligence community and how the law enforcement community work. Idiots. Absolute fucking idiots. Give me 10 minutes on this fucking committee and I'll get you guys the answers that you need. This is in-fucking-credible. How incompetent, inept, stupid, glazing, retards run our fucking country that can't even properly ask questions on a sensitive topic because they don't know what to ask. Holy shit, dude. Somebody clip that for me, bro. Somebody clip that for me. Incredible. Give me one in the chat if that all makes sense for you guys. Give me ones if that all makes sense for you guys. I'm half asleep, bro. Literally half asleep. Took a fucking sequel like an hour ago. I'm dying. And I mean, I'm able to exercise more critical thinking than these retards on no sleep. What the fuck, man?
Young women for sex to himself. They want to know who, if anyone else, he trafficked these young women to. And that's a very fair question. I want to know that answer. And I think you're going to have to do more to satisfy the American people's understandable curiosity in that regard.
Mr. Chairman, may I just respond to that? I agree, Senator. And what we have done, and just to remind folks, the Epstein case files existed in the two prior administrations, in the Obama administration and the Biden administration, and they didn't release anything. And there was President Trump in the first administration that renewed charges against Mr. Epstein. And I know it's a little complicated to understand, but what exists in the Epstein case files was a direct result of the limited search warrants from 2006 and 7, which hamstrung future investigations because of the non-prosecution agreement. And multiple administrations had the opportunity to look at the entirety of that case file and recommend prosecutions against anyone that was trafficked under Mr. Epstein and anyone that participated in that trafficking. And the only person to bring charges was the prior administration against Mr. Epstein. Now, I am not saying that others were not trafficked and others were not involved. What I am telling you is that based on the information we have, and we have continuously and publicly asked for the public to come forward with more information. If there is, we'll look at it. But based on credible information, we have released all credible information, and the information that the Department of Justice and the FBI never releases is information on investigations that are not credible. And we don't release the names of victims who weren't credible, but in the same time, we don't release the names of victims who were credible. And so the information, that's by law. And so the information we are releasing now is historic, and it is also to the maximum capacity that the law allows. And I know that's not going to satisfy many, many, many people.
Keyword, that the law satisfies you. Caught that, chat? Caught that? Caught that? Why it's very important to watch these hearings with someone that understands how the government works. I got y'all, bro. I got y'all. He said that for a specific reason. illegal to put out classified documents without declassifying it first. Okay?
From its origination should have been done right, and he should not have been given a get-out-of-jail-free card to do jail on the weekends for 12 hours a day, and he should have been investigated fully for the entirety of his crime and criminal enterprise, not just from 1997 to 2001.
Senator Blumenthal.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Director Patel, thank you for being here today. You'll recall well, in January at your confirmation hearing before this committee, I raised the prospect of politically motivated retaliation, and you...
Notice how Cash stuck to the criminal side, like I told you guys. Notice how he stuck to the criminal side, and this dumb dude didn't ask him anything about the high side.
Promised me, as you did other members of this committee, quote, every FBI employee will be held to the absolute same standard and no one will be terminated for case assignments. You went on to tell me, quote, all FBI
Guys, like the fucking video, bro. Holy, this just giving me a headache.
Employees will be protected against political retribution. And you assured one of my colleagues that you would honor the internal review process of the FBI. I'm not going to mince words. You lied to us. In the short time that you've been FBI director, you've presided over a rash of retaliatory firings. 3 FBI agents have recently sued you. They are FBI agents with 60 years between them of distinguished service, rescuing hostages, saving kids from predators, dismantling drug cartels, and their allegations, their civil allegations, are a searing indictment of your tenure as FBI director. But it's not just those 3. The FBI Agents Association has said that your actions, quote, distract agents from their work, foster fear that their assignments could cost them their careers, either now or under the next administration, and increase the risk of criminal and national security threats by undermining unity and morale within the Bureau, end quote. This association, as you know, is voluntary. It represents 14,000 members, 90% of all the active agents. These are your employees saying that your performance has been unqualified and unfit. And there is mounting evidence that these retaliatory firings were the result of direction from the White House. There have been instances in the past history of the Bureau of political interference and political direction from the director's office, but not the kind of institutional interference that we're seeing from the White House right now. I'm going to ask you, has anyone from the White House contacted you about personnel decisions?
I completely disagree with your entire premise that I've lied or am misleading the FBI. If I were, the results that I announced today by the men and women of the FBI and the historic records we are doing to keep this country safe would not be possible. The men and women of the FBI are responding to our leadership and this administration's priorities. The only way people get terminated at the FBI is if they fail to meet the muster of the job and their duties, and that is where I will leave it. And you accusing me of lying is something I don't take lightly, but I'm not going to get into a tit for tat with you.
Well, let me just ask you to answer my question. Has anyone from the White House contacted you about personnel decisions?
Generally speaking, we always discuss with the White House OMB during the budget process how many personnel we need, who we need where.
Answer is yes.
For budgetary purposes and
to fire people, agents, because they participated in investigations of the president.
I don't receive directions to do that.
I make
decisions.
Has anyone asked you to do it? The best information is yes, you've taken suggestions and directions from the White House in firing qualified agents.
Any termination at the FBI was a decision that I made based on the evidence that I have as director of the FBI. That's my job. I'm going to shy away from it. And as you stated, those are allegations. And that's an ongoing litigation. They'll have their day in court, so will we.
The allegations are not just in that lawsuit, Director Patel, and I think your testimony confirms that, in fact, you've taken direction from the White House. In those retaliatory firings.
It literally does.
You've acknowledged that, in fact, they have been in contact with you about personnel decisions.
The White House has been, do not put words in my mouth, we're on the record. The White House, like any administration, contacts its agencies on the budgeting process and where it needs personnel and where the mission priorities are. That always happens. If they didn't do that, they would be abdicating the responsibility to law enforcement. I will always work with my partners in the chain of command at the Department of Justice and the White House to ensure that this FBI is delivering the results we are delivering, to include the lowest murder rate in modern U.S. history, to include the most fentanyl seizures in modern U.S. history, to include the most lives saved and the most children found in modern U.S. history. That is a working FBI, that is not a failing FBI.
Let's move on to a related area. In White House discussions, have you been asked or directed by the White House or others to engage in a crackdown on political groups or organizations, nonprofits, after the murder of Charlie Kirk?
To direct it at political organizations? No. I've been asked by my chain of command to properly root out criminal activity wherever it is, in whatever.
Okay, guys, let's switch over to Rumble. Let's go. Rumble and Kick. I dropped the links in the chat, guys. YouTube guys, let's go. We've been on for 2 hours. Let's start cooking over there. Let's uncensor ourselves. Come on over, guys. It's Rumble time. You know what time it is, man. It's Rumble time. I dropped the link in YouTube chat, guys. Come on over. If you don't have access to Rumble in your country, no problem. Use Kick. but we're gonna switch over so we gotta censor ourselves no more. It's time for free speech, niggas. Let's go. I'm gonna end the YouTube stream now. All right, we got 6,000 plus of you guys in here watching. Come on over to Rumble. I'm gonna end the stream now. We're gonna talk more about this Kirk stuff. Epstein and all the other stuff. Let's go, guys. Let's go. Let's go. Y'all know what time it is. Y'all know what time it is. It's time to cook. Ending the YouTube stream now. My mods are spamming the links in the chat. Rumble and Kick. I pinned that at the top. Let's go, guys. Time to get real, baby. All right? YouTube guys, come on over. Y'all are about to get the best breakdown of this shit ever. Ending stream now. Love you guys at YouTube. Come on over. Kick.com/MyronGainsX, Rumble.com/MyronGainsX. Let's go. All right. Cool. It's Real Nigga Timing. Hope you guys are ready. Feels good to be on fucking YouTube. Time to cook. All right. Let's get back into it, ninjas.
Investigation we are conducting. That's what we're doing.
Have those distinctions about whom you're going to target been based on direction from the White House?
Nobody gives me a list on who to target. My targeting list is from the men and women at the FBI.
Have you talked about investigating certain groups, nonprofits, or foundations or institutions?
Whatever those investigations are, they're ongoing, and I'm not going to get into them.
Have you used polygraphs to determine loyalty of agents?
No.
Have you committed that you will respect the First Amendment rights of agents?
I have wildly committed to respecting the First Amendment rights of agents, but at the FBI, you have to balance your First Amendment rights with your mission.
Enter Hatch Act.
Have you imposed any sort of loyalty test in the course of using polygraphs or in any of the other personnel decisions?
Polygraphs have been utilized at the FBI for decades. They will continue to be utilized in the fashion by the professionals that administer them.
Have you asked, under the polygraph test, about individuals' loyalty or about their voting records or any kind of past statement?
Just to make it abundantly clear, I don't tell the professionals how to conduct polygraphs or what questions to ask. They make those decisions. And I, as a director of the FBI, never ask anyone who they voted for.
Have you investigated donors to a political party simply because they are donors?
Simply based on that fact alone? No.
Have you investigated donors for another reason?
Many donors may be involved in criminal enterprises and criminal activities, and those individuals will be investigated.
Can you commit to make public the Epstein files that so far have not been released if this committee is able to review them on a classified basis?
Okay.
It's an important distinction. The Epstein case file.
Okay. Finally, one retard knew to say the magic word of classified.
Is not.
Notice how Patel said, oh, that's a distinct question. It's very important.
Classified to my understanding. So we are providing what we legally can. And we are going to give Congress what we are legally permitted to do so to the maximum extent of the law.
Translation. We're not giving y'all the classified shit, which has all the stuff that you guys want to know. Translation.
Will you enable the chairman and the ranking member to review them on a classified basis?
That doesn't make any sense. If the material in the Epstein file is not classified, there is no basis for a classified
review. Well, it would protect the confidentiality of them if they were.
Okay, I would fire back. No. It is an absolute fact that there are going to be classified documents on Epstein. It was widely reported that he was an intelligence asset. An accusation like that almost always gets an FBI case opened. So I know for a fact there's going to be high-side classified stuff on this. It exists.
We're able to review them on a classified basis.
If anyone in this room can get the multiple district court judges to lift the court protective orders in the ceilings, we will happily provide you with more.
The judges have no say on this. The judges don't have top secret clearances. The judges don't deal with intelligence. The judges deal with criminal investigations, which is completely different from intelligence. Okay, criminal investigations and intel are two different worlds. But what Patel is doing right now is he's dancing around it because the people that are questioning him don't know how to put him in the corner and get a clear, concise answer.
More information.
Are you in favor of merging the DEA and the ATF?
God, fuck, bro. All these niggas are fumbling, man. Bro, we're cooked, bro. We're never getting these files, man. We're cooked, chat.
That's not something for me to comment on.
Well, those agencies work with you, don't they?
With me, not for me.
Are you in favor of orienting the FBI toward a national police function as opposed to the enforcement of federal law?
The FBI does enforce federal law across the country. That's what we do.
But isn't it a fact that you have told the leadership of the FBI that you view it as moving toward a local and state police function?
No, we are prioritizing working with our local and state partners, and they will tell you that has never happened with this much engagement in the history that they have been serving as local law enforcement officers. I believe local cops are the best intelligence source and the best understanding of their communities, and I folded in my FBI agents under that direction to work with them to get the job done.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
For the fourth time today, I want to remind people that my oversight has made clear that Director Ray's FBI was politicized. I've released a trove of records to prove it, not only today, but in past days. I've also said some FBI personnel who have been fired retaliated against my whistleblowers, and I don't remember my Democratic colleagues defending my whistleblowers when their careers were ruined. Senator Schmidt.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before I get into the thrust of my comments and questions, Director, I want to thank you. In our meetings prior to your confirmation, during your confirmation, we talked about your desire to get more agents out into the field, out of Washington, and take on violent crime. And you fulfilled that. St. Louis received the largest permanent per capita infusion of FBI agents anywhere in the country. And I know it's not only an isolated event, but we certainly appreciate your honoring your commitment to do that. And there's a lot of great opportunities ahead to take on violent crime, which you've highlighted many of the successes in your introductory comments. It's obviously no secret that this hearing takes place in the wake of a horrific American tragedy, the assassination of Charlie Kirk. For those of us who knew him, I know you did too. It's still sort of difficult to put into words what a tragic loss that is, not just for his family, but for our country, for free speech, for a belief that we can have a free exchange of ideas. And he was quite literally shot in the throat in an attempt to silence him and take his life. And so you have this task now of this investigation. There's been an arrest. But I think that we face an even larger crisis that law enforcement alone can't tackle alone. It's a crisis that is culminated in the assassination of Charlie. But it doesn't end there. It's I think every bit present right now, and the challenge is greater than quite frankly, I would have imagined. Seeing some of the comments that have taken place after the assassination, it's something that I think as a country we have to reckon with. And it's something deeper, much deeper than a rejection of law and order or the norms of civil society. We've entered a very dangerous time, I think, in our country. And that should be clear to everyone. Political violence is a sign of a deep and corrosive sickness in any society. But in America today, the problem is just not political violence in the abstract. It is a specific kind of political violence, which is overwhelmingly driven by a specific set of actors and groups. None of this emerged out of thin air. Over the past week, leaders from across the political spectrum have come out and forcefully condemned Charlie's murder and political violence more broadly. For that, we're all very grateful. We should be grateful. There have been calls to unite and come together in the wake of Charlie's murder, and I want to do that. I do. Someday I pray that we can be united as a country again and go forward together as a one people and under one flag, but we are not united. Upstream from the dehumanization and demonizing political violence and rhetoric tearing apart our country is a divide on how we view America and Americans. Is America good? Is America evil? Is there something inherently special about Western civilization, or is this 2,000-year project rotten to downplay them? And if it is something worth fighting for, which I believe, how do we do it? With words and ideas like Charlie did, or with firebombs and assassins' bullets? Political violence is always wrong. Period. Full stop. It doesn't matter which side, in the name of any ideology or cause, it's wrong. But in America today, political violence is not a problem that falls equally upon both sides. We have to be honest about this. We must reject an attempt to paint it as some kind of random phenomenon with no particular creed or ideology. A kind of spontaneous insanity, which takes place outside of any broader social context and has no pattern at all. That's wrong. So free speech, yes. Political violence, no. But we have to be honest about what's happening. Already, we're hearing people talk about Charlie's assassination in those terms. We're told that we can't possibly know what drove a killer to plan and carry out a murder of the most prominent conservative activist in America. But that's a lie. We do know. The facts are plain and clear, and we have to speak truth in this moment, or there's no other side of the mountain. The vast majority of Americans are against political violence, but there is a vocal, active minority that encourages and celebrates it, and that minority is overwhelmingly on the left. Just last week, a YouGov poll found that a full 25% of those people who describe themselves as very liberal say it can be justified for citizens to use violence to achieve political goals. Less than 3% of very conservative Americans say the same. That's too many. That is 3% too many. But we are lying if we think that this is a both sides thing. It's not. We have to confront it. And you're going to have an important job of rooting out these terrorists. This is an ideology that runs very deep. The numbers are virtually identical to the ones I just noted when it comes to whether or not it's okay to celebrate the deaths of people whom we disagree with. And while large majorities in both parties were opposed to celebrating political violence, Democrats overall were nearly twice as likely as Republicans to believe that it is usually or always acceptable to celebrate the death of a public figure they oppose. What in the hell is going on? Earlier this year, a poll found that more than 55% of people on the left believe...
Bro, this guy's just yapping. Dude, ask your question. What the hell?
The These are not just some abstractions on a page. These are our fellow citizens. How can we come together with people who believe these things? We've all seen the flood of posts on social media over the past week, not just a fringe few, but thousands upon thousands of people gleefully celebrating a father of 2 young children getting gunned down in broad daylight. I wish I wouldn't have seen that video. I wish my kids would not have seen that video. Blue Sky, the left-wing alternative to X, was so overwhelmed with these posts that the platform was forced to issue a statement warning its users to stop glorifying the murder. And it wasn't just random social media trolls. It was journalists, elite college professors, and even politicians, all but saying Charlie's assassination was justified because of what he thought, because of what he said. We saw the flood of hit pieces, the most powerful media outlets in the nation dishonestly attacking and villainizing Charlie for the most vicious possible terms. How can you ask us to unite under that? There can be no unity between good and evil. Somebody has to win this thing. And as a country, we have to absolutely reject it. And don't tell me it's both sides. It didn't happen in a vacuum. Over the past decade, we've seen an explosion of political violence, not just one-off lone wolf attacks, but organized, systemic political violence at a mass scale. It is not organic. It is the offspring of a dark and clandestine...
What, did this guy want to fucking just do a fucking monologue about violence from Democrats? Like, bro, we get it. Dude, we're with you. We know that the left conducts violence all the time. Like, ask your fucking question. You got Cash Patel in front of you, dude. No one cares about your monologue. Holy, bro. Some of these guys are so fucking self-absorbed and retarded.
The propagandists.
And I say they think they're smart, too. A lot of these guys are too retarded to even ask the proper questions. During the course of this stream, guys, I've broken it down to you guys and told you guys what these idiots should be asking. But instead, they want to go on monologues and fucking be like, look how smart I am, how cool I am. Let me just yap. Yeah.
Check yourself. And don't give me this full-side bullshit. Mr. Director, I want to ask you.
Finally.
Tell me if each one of the following perpetrators or alleged perpetrators were acting from a left-wing or right-wing political violence. The man who tried to kill Republican congressmen at the congressional baseball practice, nearly killing House Majority Leader Steve Scalise. Left-wing or right-wing violence?
Sir, I believe it was a left-wing ideology.
Okay. Burned down cities during the Summer of Love in the George Floyd riots. Left-wing violence or right-wing violence?
Sir, I'll rely on you on these. I don't have off the top of my head.
Okay. Left-wing. The Waukesha Christmas Parade massacre. Left-wing or right-wing violence? Left-wing. The Lee Zeldin stabbing attempt, left wing or right wing? Left wing. The Covenant school shooting in Nashville, left wing or right wing? Left wing. The Butler, Pennsylvania assassination attempt on President Trump, left wing or right wing? Left wing. The Trump International West Palm Beach assassination attempt, left wing. The Abundant Light Christian school shooting, left wing. The United Care CEO's murder, left wing. Tesla's burned, Kyiv damaged, firebomb, left wing, left wing. The murders at the Israeli embassy, left wing. The ICE facilities firebombed, left wing. The Minnesota Catholic school shooting, left wing. The anti-white Charlotte and North Carolina stabbing, left wing. The attempted Utah News State firebombing, left wing. And now, of course, the culmination of this vile trend, a left-wing assassination of Charlie Kirk. So don't give me this both sides. If we want to get to unity, let's be honest. Let's be honest. Free speech, yes. Political violence, no. But let's be honest.
Senator Ronald.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Director Patel, just like the rest of the...
Bro just wanted to hear himself speak, bro. I hate fucking... Oh, my God, bro. Some of these dudes are insufferable.
I want to better understand the scope of the turnover and the changes occurring at the FBI. Since January 2025, how many FBI employees have retired, resigned, been fired, or otherwise separated from employment? I need a number.
We'll get you a number.
What is the number? You don't have it?
Not off the top of my head, and I want to get you the right number.
Would it surprise you to know that it's probably in the thousands, like 5,000?
I don't think that number's accurate.
You don't know. Next question. How many special agents or analysts have left or been fired from the FBI since January 2025?
Okay, we will get you the numbers, and anyone that retires is of their own volition, and anyone that is terminated at the FBI, as I've said before, is done so because they have failed to meet the standards and uphold their loyalty and oaths to the Constitution.
So you say. Next question. How many executive assistant directors, or special agents in charge have left or been fired from the FBI since January 20th, 2025?
Again, people leaving on their own accord or terminations were done by the standards set at the FBI that have been carried out
With this question, I'm
consistently.
getting to the leadership of the FBI, and you don't have that answer. Next question. Which field office, division, or directorate has lost the most personnel since January 2025? And, do you have the answer to that question?
Yeah, actually every single field office in the country, including Hawaii, has received a plus-up of FBI agents because we're pushing them out to the field.
Okay, so you're telling me that no field office, division, or directorate has lost any personnel since January 20th, 2025. That's your answer?
In Hawaii, there's been a plus-up. In every single state that I'm looking at, we have allocated a plus-up for field offices across the country so that the FBI can continue the historic achievements it's done in these last 7 months. When you're talking about firings, you're looking for a media hit and a fundraising clip, and I'm not going to give it to you.
it doesn't matter. I'm under what basis they left. I just want to know how many have left. And I think your testimony is nobody has left. Next question.
Nope, that's not my testimony. You asked it one time. I answered it one time. You didn't get the answer you wanted for your clips. You keep asking it. And I told you I'd get you the numbers, but you can keep asking it.
Here we go.
Which field office
Love you a long time.
director has gained the most personnel since January 2025? You noted that there have been plus-ups. So which offices have received these plus-ups?
The greatest allocation that I believe was given to California and then Florida.
Where were those offices?
California and Florida.
Yo, I ain't gonna lie, this Chinese bitch is coming for his neck, bro. And not only is she coming for his neck, Cash is right. She is trying to get a clip. And here's the thing. Again, this is why Cash is smart. She said, how many people have been terminated or left the agency? He doesn't know. Okay. The field officers, how many personnel have they lost? Oh, well, I beefed up all of them. And he's telling the truth technically, because what Cash did was he took a bunch of the agents in a Washington, D.C. office that weren't doing shit, and he moved them to other offices. So that's how he was able to beef up the agency, despite some people leaving.
Director Patel, you often refer to FBI agents as cops. All of us, Democrats and Republicans, support the police officers who keep our communities safe. But while our states, cities, counties, and towns all employ police officers to protect our communities, Congress has empowered and equipped the FBI to take on missions that local police cannot, especially taking on terrorists, hackers, and spies. I'd like to assess how well the FBI is able to handle its specialized missions under your leadership. The FBI is the nation's lead federal law enforcement agency for investigating and preventing acts of domestic and international terrorism. And yet the executive assistant directors in charge of the FBI's national security and intelligence branches were both forced out at the beginning of the year. Who replaced them in those positions?
Excellent qualified personnel to lead the mission of arresting 23,000 violent criminals this year alone. That's twice as many as before.
Took the places of
I'm not going to give you any names so you can attack them.
Why not?
So you can attack them. I'm not doing that. The people sitting in those seats are extremely qualified to handle the job. We would not have the results. We would not have the reduction of violence in the state of Hawaii.
Yo, guys, I never thought in my lifetime I would see the director of the FBI going back and forth with a fucking zipperhead bitch. Bro, we basically got an Indian FBI director fighting with some fucking Chinese senator. This is fucking entertainment, chat. Who would have thought? You got the fucking deodorant dodger with the chopstick bitch? This is fucking comedy. What? This is America now, chat. Politics used to be all posh and formal and shit. Now we got these fucking guys, these Asians basically, arguing under oath at a hearing. Incredible.
We did not allocate the resources.
Earlier this year, FBI counterterrorist special agents and investigators were reassigned to assist with immigration enforcement. Reportedly, these counterterrorism experts were returned to the jobs they trained for in late January after Iran threatened to retaliate for our strikes on their nuclear facilities. Have those experts remained in the jobs they trained for since that time? Yes or no?
FBI agents' primary responsibility is exactly what they are assigned to do. We always work with our interagency
since they returned to their positions,
if you're not going to let me answer, why don't you just do your soliloquy in the 4.5 minutes you have
I am
left?
not asking for a soliloquy. It's just a yes or no. Are those people who were returned to their jobs still on those jobs? Yes,
they never left.
What was that?
They never left their primary job. It is a surge of resources in law enforcement working with the interagency to combat violent crime and reduce violent crime in historic proportions.
That's your testimony. Okay, Director Patel, the FBI is also the lead federal agency for investigating cyber attacks and cyber intrusions, both by foreign nation states and by non-state hacker groups. Since President Trump...
The reason why she's asking this, guys, is because no one likes doing immigration. FBI agents they have title and authority, which is immigration, but they never like to do it.
Trump's inauguration, the executive assistant director...
A bunch of them are probably bitching that they're being forced to run out with HSI, Border Patrol, and ICE to go get these illegal aliens.
Part of the criminal and the cyber branch and the head of the FBI cyber division have both left the FBI. What are the names of the people who replace them in those positions?
The cyber branch is one of the most impressive at the FBI. 409 arrests this year, 169 convictions, and a 42% increase from the same time last year. So, suggestion that the FBI cyber division is not operating at full capacity better than ever before. The leadership at the branch is implementing these changes necessary to attack the cyber and ransomware infrastructure operators.
You know why they're important? I want to know who has those positions, since the people who originally were there...
Supremely qualified individuals have those positions.
Who are they?
Supremely qualified individuals.
Who are they? What are the names?
You're not getting
You don't know. Special agents who investigate cybercrime were also assigned for immigration enforcement. Have those experts...
This is fucking awesome. I ain't gonna lie.
investigators return to their duties? Yes or no?
All agents remained on their primary duties while surging to allocate resources for interagency operations to the Homeland Security task forces across this country.
So are you...
Am I what?
See, I'm not getting the yes or no answers. I get all this explanation, so there you go.
No, you get the work the men and women of the FBI are doing. You don't want that.
Additional personnel cuts to the cyber division in the future?
The only people that will be terminated at the FBI will be those that violate their oath of office, fail to meet the high standards of the FBI.
Director Patel, the FBI is meant to be the tip of the spear in combating terrorism against the United States from both foreign and domestic sources. It's also our lead agency in fighting the hackers who target our businesses and critical infrastructure. But instead of its specialized role fighting these kinds of terrorists, hackers, and spies, you have the FBI playing the role of local police and helping with immigration enforcement. I'm going to move on to my...
The reason why she had that line of questioning, guys, is she's trying to say FBI agents are not immigration officers and FBI agents are not street cops patrolling the beat. That's why she's asking this line of questions.
You've been asking some questions about changes to your hiring standard, and including college degrees and possibly the age. But one question I had is that you are now requiring applicants to be able to do a certain kind of pull-ups, which a lot of women cannot because of physiological differences. Are you requiring these kinds of pull-ups?
We are requiring a physical program at BFTC at Quantico because FBI agents carrying guns in the field have to chase down bad guys and do really hard work. The physical fitness standards of those agents.
So are you requiring these kinds of pull-ups?
We are requiring everybody to pass the 1811 standards at BFTC. If you want to chase down a bad guy and put him in handcuffs, you better be able to do a pull-up.
The reason I ask is that there are concerns about whether or not being able to do these kinds of harsh pull-ups is really required of FBI agents.
Doing one pull-up is not harsh, and there are always medical exemptions to that.
I'm gravely concerned by the state of the FBI under your control. And in fact, you are willing to take a cut on your agency of almost $500 million. So the FBI is losing dedicated employees, decades of expertise and specialization, leading to loss to early retirements, firings, and reassignments to immigration enforcement or conducting local police work. Thousands have already left. For as long as you remain as the head of the FBI, I fear the number of departures and summary firings will continue to grow. Mr. Patel, before the vote on your nomination of this committee, I noted that your most significant qualification, which is not just something that I noted, but others, your most significant qualification was your 100% loyalty to President Trump. And I fear that that continues to be the motivating factor in your position as FBI director. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
May I, Mr. Chairman?
Director Patel, did you...
Yes.
Yeah, she was just trying to trigger him. Dude, she was trying to get under his skin.
You wanted to say that?
That is an entire falsehood. You can delete my 16 years of government service to multiple administrations all you want. The fact is that I was a public defender. I was a national security prosecutor. I was a House Intelligence staffer. I was a deputy director of intelligence. I was a chief of staff to the Department of Defense and the Secretary of Defense. I led the counterterrorism missions for the White House. Those are just some of the jobs I held in my 16-year career. There was no loyalty then. There's no loyalty now to anything but the Constitution.
Senator Brett.
Yes, well, before I begin, I want to thank Senator Hirono for what she said, acknowledging that there are physical differences between men and women, talking about that women wouldn't be able to do as many pull-ups, and I think that she was making a case here that there should be different standards. There's a thing called Title IX, and this is why we continue to say we should have biological men in men's sports and biological women in women's sports. So I look forward to utilizing that to talk to all of my colleagues on the other side of the aisle. Maybe they will stand with us and help us protect women's sports. I think she made a great argument there for it. Moving on to today, Director Patel, thank you for being here. Thank you for your commitment to making sure that America is safe again. Thank you for doing that coast to coast and within our cities. I certainly look forward to talking about that and talking about your historic gains in these areas. But I would be remiss if I didn't begin my questioning with you about the horrific events that we have seen over the last week. Obviously, our heart breaks. Not only for Erica and Charlie's two children and for parents and families, but for America and for those of us who knew him, you being chief among those. So just my sincere condolences and thank you for the steps that you and the FBI have taken to make sure that we have...
Jacob, if you're watching, bro, let me know when you got the stamps for the first stream we did on YouTube.
Somebody, and we're going to be able to move forward with that. But if you look over the last, since last summer alone, we had 2 assassination attempts on the president. We've had an arson attack on the governor, Governor Shapiro there in Pennsylvania.
Here we go, more woman yap. Oh my God.
And yeah, you have the murder of the state representatives, Melissa Portman and her husband in Minnesota, along with the shooting of State Senator John Hoffman and his wife.
Okay, bitch, we know that there's political violence. A bunch of your colleagues have already talked about all of this shit. The Democrat bitch earlier, fucking this dude a second ago next to her. Bro, we know, we understand that there's political violence. Ask your fucking question.
Assassination of Charlie Kirk last week. I appreciate you committing to both Senator Hawley and Senator Kennedy, talking about making sure that all that are involved are held accountable. I think that is critically important, and I think that America needs that transparency. I want to read you some words of Vice President J.D. Vance. He said, if we want to stop political violence like what happened to Charlie Kirk, we have to be honest about the people who are celebrating it and the people who are financing it. My question to you is, in light of Charlie's murder and all of the things that we have just referenced and have been talking about today, what steps is the FBI taking to more aggressively crack down on those who promote, encourage, encourage, finance, fund these types of engagements and this type of political violence?
Thank you, Senator, for your kind words. So in terms of how we crack down on the root cause of this violence, for now putting aside the ideological motivations and how they got there, the monetary issue is a real issue, and as I said before, we follow the money.
Softball questions. This girl likes cash, support her, so obviously she's going to give easy questions. Notice how when he deals with people he likes, he's way more open and transparent and answers questions directly?
We're on to utilize clickbait to make money for their ideology. And so to trace all of those we are using, not just in Charlie's investigation, but others, lawful process and serving 2703D orders on any entity that is related in any way financially to any of these criminal acts of violence. And we are going to hold them accountable with our partners at the Department of Justice.
Excellent. I would love to stay abreast of that, and just we must get to the bottom of it. We must follow the money. Someone is funding this discourse. Do you believe, obviously there are people here, unfortunately American citizens that may be engaged in that, but do you also believe that some of this may be coming from overseas?
Yes.
Okay, let's get to the bottom of it and let's make it stop.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to ask you about the Dobbs decision. So we know that it was leaked in May of 22, and then we had the Marshal Service say we found nothing in January of 23. I find that absolutely mind-boggling, that we can't figure out who leaked that opinion. We know it was done in attempts to undermine the process, and then the intimidation of the justices occurred after that. Tell me what you can do as FBI director to help us get to the bottom of what happened and actually hold someone accountable for their actions.
So I can't speak to what the marshals did and how they conducted their investigation. I can tell you.
Also, guys, quick plug. Join the OSS, $10 a month. Keep the free speech alive, because YouTube is run by a bunch of dreidel-spinning faggots, as you guys know. That's why we call it YouTube. So that's how I'm able to do these streams, kind of pop up like this and give you all this value. I think we've been doing a pretty good stream right now, breaking down a lot of the nuances and shit like that. It's been entertaining as well. But yeah, I hope you guys are learning some shit during this stream. Pretty educational as far as giving you guys insight on how law enforcement works, especially with the FBI.
Generally speaking, the FBI has taken over the investigation on the leak because it was such a detrimental leak.
So you commit to getting to the bottom of it?
We are utilizing the full resources of the FBI as we usually do on leak investigations, and we will make sure our results are public at the appropriate time.
We need answers. I want to talk about child sexual exploitation.
The reason why we're early, guys, is because I made a tweet. I said, yo, Kash Patel's about to get cooked in the Senate hearing. You guys want me to go live? And they're like, bro, just go live. So I said, fuck it. I just turned the stream on and we're here.
Thank you for protecting our youth. We know that is the greatest gift that we have. That is our greatest treasure here in the United States, is the next generation. And finally, we have an FBI director that is putting that at the top of his list. Can you tell me the steps and the different initiatives? I've heard you talk about a couple of them. You've mentioned 764 amongst other things. Tell me what you're doing, and specifically, I want to know about when it comes to sextortion. So as a parent who is raising children right now, teenagers, and you're looking at what's happening, whether people are snapping photos and then what's happening online. I've had a number of parents sit in front of me telling me terrible, heartbreaking stories about their children ultimately taking their own life because of being blackmailed. I want to know, what steps are you taking to get to the bottom of that and to absolutely end this? If this were happening in a storefront, Mr. Director, that store would be shut down, no matter where it was, coast to coast. And yet we continue to allow these things to happen, and we've got to have a more targeted approach when we're looking at this. And so what are you doing to protect children, and specifically sextortion?
So in our VCAC initiative, our Violent Crimes Against Children is our umbrella enterprise operations hub for things like Operation Enduring Freedom and Operation Not Forgotten and Operation Justice. And in things like that, those are producing the results that I told you about. 1,500 child predators arrested, 300 human traffickers arrested, 4,700 children identified and saved, a 35% increase from year to date last year alone. But specifically on your sextortion question, Senator, that is a problem that we are seeing explode on generative AI and private sector and social media companies. And what we're doing is engaging with NCMEC, the National Center for Missing and Exploiting Children, because this one stat alone should probably cause great pause. They have seen a 1,325%.
NCMEC, guys, is basically the headquarters for all child exploitation crimes in America. So, let's say, for example, an agent comes across child pornography, and they don't know who the minor is. They'll submit that photo to NCMEC, and then NCMEC has a huge database that will be able to identify who that child is, where the site's been that show it. So it's like a huge fucking HQ for anyone that does child exploitation cases.
100% increase in generative AI leading to sextortion and child sexual abuse. That cannot...
And all the law enforcement agencies use it.
...be countermanded by the FBI alone. We have embedded people at NCMEC and have a great partnership with them.
NCMEC, you mean?
But what we need to do is what we did in the month of May, and we're doing it over and over again. We arrested 400 individuals in 1 month surge. These individuals have prioritized. The agents and intel analysts have never left that mission. They're doing multiple missions at the same time. That's what the FBI is called upon to do day in and day out. We won't stop doing 2 things at once. But we need help from social media companies. We need help from the private sector and the internet service providers that allow this generative AI to be hosted on their platforms. We have got to get a resolution on that with our partners in Congress and the private sector.
Well, we are definitely committed to working on that. I know the people up here, so you let us know what tools you need, and I know we've got several ideas that we look forward to pushing forward. In my remaining 2 minutes, I want to talk to you about your historic results when it comes to crime. In particular, we've seen here in DC just a total transformation. You mentioned earlier 60% down in gun crime, 70% down in carjackings. You said 50% down in homicides, to name a few. We have a success story, and we appreciate President Trump's leadership on all of this. We have a success story in Alabama, where the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency, so ALEA, they just marked their 1-year anniversary of the metro area.
Holy shit, this woman likes to talk, bro. Dude.
Crime suppression unit. There in Montgomery, it is a coordinated effort with ALEA, with our Attorney General, with Montgomery PD, and our sheriff, Montgomery County sheriffs. They've seen a 30% drop in violent crime and a 19% drop in overall crime. So it is actually producing results. It's this type of interagency connect.
Dude, this is so fucking annoying, bro. It's like, dude, the American people really don't care to hear your fucking monologue, bro. The reason why people are even here is because they want to see you guys ask Kash Patel questions that we're all asking. You guys are supposed to represent us, not deliver these stupid ass fucking monologues about some bullshit and word salad. Nobody cares. But here's the thing that I've noticed with a lot of these Senate hearings. Anytime like Pete Hegseth, Kash Patel, Tulsi Gabbard, any of these people that have like big, social media followings, dude, all these motherfuckers just want to sit there and give monologues. It's so fucking annoying. Bro, be like the Asian woman and ask the hard questions. Bro. Oh, man.
Activity.
What is this, like the 6th person now, chat, that's like just giving retarded fucking monologues, yapping?
That I think ultimately is going to lead us to safer cities and safer streets. I know that you are committed to that, committed to working with your partners. You said earlier you've elevated sheriffs and police officers there to the 7th floor. Thank you for doing that. I am grateful.
It's like, bro, you got Kash Patel in front of you under oath. Ask him the hard questions, okay? No one wants to hear about your fucking thoughts on leftist extremism. Yes, we get it. Antifa, BLM, they're a bunch of liberal faggot niggers that commit a bunch of crimes. We get it. We know. They're terrorists.
Grateful for the men and women of Alabama in uniform that have made this happen and want to know how is the FBI working to collaborate in these types of ways across our country to make sure that we have even greater success stories to tell.
Well, the collaboration's happening at our Redstone Arsenal in Alabama. We bring 4,000 students through our Redstone Arsenal for training every year. In terms of our future plans, in the next few years, we will bring 13,000 students a year through Alabama's Redstone Arsenal. And by students, I mean FBI employees, I mean sheriffs, I mean police chiefs, I mean cops, I mean intel analysts, because that is their future gem of how we're going to train local law enforcement. And we're so thankful for the dedication of resources to that facility. And I encourage everyone to go down there and take a look, because if you want to see where the FBI is going and how we're going to train in the future, it's happening at Quantico and Redstone.
We are very proud of it, and thank you so much for your leadership.
Thank God. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Patel, I want to start off where we left off last time. I asked you whether you had any knowledge or discussions about removing FBI officials and installing political...
Okay, this might be good, guys.
...position. And I wonder, did you then understand or have conversations with the White House about the intentions to do so?
Before I was confirmed?
Yes, sir.
Did I have discussions with the White House to remove FBI personnel?
Yes.
No.
So you're saying that you had no discussions with the White House before you were in the position about the removal of any personnel from the agency?
As I was preparing for my confirmation hearing, I had numerous discussions involving the type of people that would be employed, and that those that were failing to meet the mark of the FBI would no longer be employed if
and I'm assuming that mark had to do with loyalty to the Trump administration.
No, you're wrong.
Okay. I'd like to revisit another subject from that hearing. You did testify before the grand jury that President Trump had declassified the documents at issue in Mar-a-Lago classified documents case. Is that correct?
Shit, here we go.
I don't have the grand jury transcript. That's why I released it. Whatever it says, that's evidence.
That's what you said to Senator Whitehouse, that your grand jury testimony was publicly released. It has not been. In fact, in July, a court denied a news outlet's bid to get that transcript. But the court said quite clearly that you are free to discuss your grand jury testimony. So I ask you again, did you testify before the grand jury that President Trump declassified the documents at issue in the Mar-a-Lago classified document case?
And that is why I took your invitation to work with the department and the court to have have that transcript released, and the transcript is the best evidence of what I said then.
So you're saying right now this committee have access to what you said before the grand jury?
To whatever was released. And my understanding, Senator, that the Department of Justice...
You and I both understand the law. Let me finish. You and I understand under Rule 6 of the Federal Rules of Procedure, a grand jury witness, in this case you, is not barred from sharing their grand jury testimony. This is an oversight hearing. This is germane to your integrity and credibility. You know right now whether or not you testified that President Trump declassified the documents at issue in the Mar-a-Lago classified documents case. Why are you refusing to answer that simple yes or no question right now?
Because the premise of your question is inaccurate, and that is
There's
why.
no premise to my question, but trying to get to an order of what is truth or not.
How do you know what was asked in the grand jury if you weren't there?
Mr. President, this is a mockery you're making of this hearing. A simple question.
It's a simple question.
Bro, it's a slippery one, man.
You have
Mr. Patel, during your nomination,
he's smart, man. He's deflecting crazy.
Hearing, you promised that...
Guys, the reason why he probably doesn't want to say what he said at the grand jury testimony is because he might not remember, or he just doesn't want to disclose it. So this is why he's being evasive here.
Quote, all FBI employees will be protected against political retribution. When I asked you, are you aware of any plans or discussions to punish in any way, including termination, FBI agents or personnel associated with the Trump administration, you explicitly said under oath that you were not aware of any plans to punish FBI agents associated with criminal investigations of Donald Trump. I don't believe you were truthful. Firing FBI employees based solely on the cases that they are investigating, their case assignments, is illegal, and you know that. A new lawsuit that's been discussed numerous times, filed by 3 FBI officials, alleges that you carried out Donald Trump's campaign of retribution, in quotes, against FBI employees for, quote, failure to demonstrate sufficient political loyalty. One of those plaintiffs has been discussed today, Brian Driscoll. Now, we know 20 years of distinguished service to the FBI before you terminated him. Special agent in charge of FBI's Newark field office, where he operated with distinction. Medal of Valor winner, Shield of Bravery awards. He's a patriot. You terminated Driscoll via a letter dated October 8th, 2025, and in that letter you said that you were firing him pursuant to Article 2 of the Constitution. Well, you're not the President of the United States, and so I'm wondering under what authority you were allowed to terminate him.
That matter is under litigation, and I'm not able to discuss it.
Okay, well, discuss this. Did you have discussions with Stephen Miller about firing this particular person or about his continuance in the FBI?
Not that I recall.
How often do you speak to Stephen Miller?
Frequently on our Homeland Security Task Forces.
You frequently talk with Stephen Miller about subjects other than Homeland Security Task Force issues, correct?
I frequently talk to Mr. Miller about Homeland Security Task Forces.
Has Stephen Miller ever given you his opinions on how to run your agency?
Mr. Miller's interagency operations are invaluable to the FBI. That's what we talk about.
So you frequently discuss your job and your responsibilities with Stephen Miller and Pam Bondi, I imagine, as well.
Absolutely. She's the Attorney General.
Understood. Okay. Boss, Donald Trump promised to make us all safer. You have pushed out senior FBI agents with decades of knowledge and experience. In fact, this is the first time in FBI history that neither the director nor the deputy director have any experience with the FBI. You've shifted the agency's priorities primarily to pursuing Donald Trump's immigration enforcement agenda. According to ICE data, the Cato Institute, which is a conservative think tank, found that 20% of all agents have been diverted from their work to assist ICE immigration enforcement. 20%. Part of this operation is the work of mass law enforcement who jump out of cars, snatch people off streets at churches, schools, and their jobs and hospitals. Have there been any FBI agents who investigate crimes against children that have been assigned to immigration enforcement, yes or no?
This premise, but what you say is entirely
false. Have there been
false.
any FBI agents who investigate foreign domestic terrorism?
You don't get to say America is not safer under this leadership.
I'm not saying
America is safer because of the work of the FBI.
You're making a presumption of
4,700 children.
Sir,
we have seen 6,000 weapons and 23,000 violent felons have been
FBI
arrested.
agents who investigate human trafficking have been reassigned to immigration enforcement. You are not denying that FBI agents who are on the task force that fight against Russian oligarchs have not been reassigned. Public Corrections Squad reassigned. People who defend children reassigned. You're not denying that. I've seen you time and time again attack my colleagues' premises of questions as a way to not answer the question. So let me end with this. I believe you have made our country weaker and less safe.
Tell me how you really feel.
I believe that we are more vulnerable to a major event, and I pray to God it doesn't happen. You've gutted the Bureau of Institutional Knowledge and Expertise. You fired or pushed out seasoned FBI officials, many with more than 20 years of experience, and were working on cases that were critical. You've been purging thousands of serious law enforcement officials who spent their careers keeping us safe, only to lower hiring standards in order to find anyone to replace them. And shockingly, you admitted in this hearing to Senator Coons that it would take 14 years to fill the vacancies at your agency. Many are the result of your purge. 20% of FBI agents are doing low-level immigration enforcement instead of their mission-critical work. You've disbanded entire task forces that stop election interference, foreign influence, public corruption. And who benefits from this? Well, corrupt people benefit from it. Criminals benefit from it. Vladimir Putin benefits from it. And it really makes me wonder who you're looking out for. It makes me think we can't trust you as a nation. You swear to release the Epstein files, but now you're withholding the Epstein files. You claim that you have a suspect in a serious assassination. Whoops, then you don't have a suspect.
Here we go.
You know nothing about plans to remove FBI agents yet?
Yeah, this guy did his homework, bro. He came with an axe to grind, clearly, as you guys could see.
You're directly involved in those plans. In the words of an ex-FBI official, you are overseeing, and I quote, generational destruction of the nation's premier law enforcement agency. Mr. Patel, in just 8 months, you have assaulted the institutional integrity of the FBI. But I know FBI field agents. I've worked with them in Newark. No matter how truly bad you are, you can't undermine the legacy of agents who fight every day to keep us safe, but you can tarnish the integrity of the agency and undermine the agency's capacity. I believe you're failing as a leader, and that your failure does have serious implications for the safety and security of Americans and our families. We're more vulnerable to domestic and foreign attack because of your failures of leadership. I don't think you're fit to end the Bureau, but here's the thing, Mr. Patel. I think you're not going to be around long.
Oh, shit.
I think this might be your last oversight hearing.
Oh, shit.
Because as much as you supplicate yourself to the will of Donald Trump and not the Constitution of the United States of America, Donald Trump has shown us in his first term and in this term, he is not loyal to people like you. He will cut you loose. This may be the last time I have a hearing with you because I don't think you're long for your job. But I'm going to tell you this. I pray for you. I pray for you that you can step up and defend your oath, defend the Constitution, and do a much better job of defending this country. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Do you want to say anything?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, clearly he has a grievance with Patel, but he's a Democrat.
That rant of false information does not bring this country together. If you want to work on bringing this country, it's my time, not yours.
My God.
If you want to talk about
dividing this country,
it is my time.
I follow you on your social media posts.
It is my time to address your falsehoods.
Oh, you want to try on
this is peak entertainment, baby.
all you
the division
want
in this country.
not say
It's my time.
for what you have said.
Time.
Sir, you're
Your
making
time
a
is
mockery of this
over.
committee. Sir, you don't tell me my time is over.
You
The
know how
people
far
of New
we've
Jersey
come
tell me
since
what my
Utah.
time is. You can't lecture me.
You can tell me
Sir,
my time's over?
You may be the target of
I'm
the
not going
FBI, but
anywhere.
I am not afraid of you.
Mr. Chairman.
I'm not afraid of you.
Mr. Chairman, point of
Okay, it was worth it to go live, bro. This is crazy. Yo, I never thought I'd be seeing this, bro. What the fuck is going on in America?
order. Senator
You got an FBI director literally having a shouting match with the New Jersey senator live on fucking YouTube under oath.
I announced at the beginning of this meeting that this back and forth talking over each other doesn't work, and I said if that happened, I asked Patel not to respond, and I was going to give him some time after the senator's time was up to respond, and he has the privilege to do that uninterrupted.
Mr. Chairman, one point of
Go
order.
ahead, Mr.
I've
Patel.
watched him talk over us, and you've never once criticized him for us not even being able to get our questions out.
Well,
He's been rude and disrespectful to senator after senator.
And when the senators were not giving him a chance to answer, I didn't stop the senator either. Go ahead, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If the FBI, under my 7-month leadership, were failing this administration in this country, why do we have 23,000 violent felons arrested this year alone? A double increase from that time last year. Why is it that we have seized 6,000 weapons? Why have we found 1,500 child predators and arrested them? Why have we 300 human traffickers in jail? Why have we found and identified 4,700 children? Why have we seized 1,600 kilograms of fentanyl, enough to kill a third of the American public, a 25% increase alone from last year? 88,000 kilograms of cocaine seized, 7,000 kilograms of meth seized, and that's just on our criminal operations in summer heat. How is it possible that we are taking 8 kilograms off the streets of the cities in New Jersey and preventing the deaths of 607,000 people this year alone? A failure of the FBI and my leadership. How is it that we have counterintelligence arrests already this year exceeding the numbers from the entirety of last year? 33% increase in PRC, 83% in Russia, 60% in the CI space as it relates to Iran, and we haven't even talked about CT, the southern border, the northern border.
Before Senator Cruz, I kind of feel like a broken record today. All this interest in FBI termination, yet my colleagues showed no intent or interest in when my whistleblower suffered retaliation over the past years, particularly the past 4 years. Indeed, one whistleblower has alleged that Brian Driscoll's insubordination, whether an agent is on a hot button case or not, they ought to be held accountable for misconduct and weaponization. Senator Cruz.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have to say...
All right, here we go. Fat boy Ted Cruz, a.k.a. Israel's #1 bitch, alongside Marco Rubio.
It used to be that to see theater, you had to go to the Kennedy Center. Now, apparently, you need only go to the Senate Judiciary Committee and see...
Well, at least that's one thing we can agree on. That was entertainment right there.
Our Senate Democrats berating the director...
Yeah, Drew Cruz, facts.
...of the FBI.
APAC Cruz, facts.
Okay.
Taco Ted, facts.
It's not...
Tel Aviv Ted. Yo, these names are crazy that you guys got in the chat, bro. Tel Aviv Ted is funny.
Partisan politics is not new in the United States Congress.
Talmud Cruz, bro. That's another one. Talmud Cruz.
But what is remarkable is what Senator Booker was berating Director Patel about. He wasn't berating him for failing to do his job, but rather he was furious for Director Patel for successfully doing his job. For 4 years, the Democrats under Joe Biden had an open border that undermined the safety of every single American. They
obviously, you guys know where Ted Cruz is, right? He's a supporter of Cash Patel.
Allowed 12 million illegal aliens to come into this country to invade.
So Glaze incoming.
This country.
I'll take a quick pace while Talmud Ted talks.
And every single day, Americans were murdered, women were raped, children were assaulted by violent criminals that Democrats released. Now, Director Patel, I found Senator Booker's questioning really bizarre. He asked you, have you reassigned FBI agents from human trafficking to immigration issues? Director Patel, are the Mexican cartels that are bringing people illegally into this country engaged in human trafficking?
Yes, sir.
What the hell does it mean to reassign someone from human trafficking to immigration? The greatest human trafficking that in the world has been over the last 4 years on our southern border. It is modern-day slavery that the Democrats still defend. They still defend those open borders. Mr. Patel also said, did you reassign FBI agents from protecting children